25, Ryland Fellinger. And left wing, number 76, Nathan Espinal. At center, number 10, Jimmy Lombardi. At right wing, number 9, Chris Thibodeau. And in between the pipes, number 1, Mason Bakari. Fans, at this time, please rise if you are able and remove your caps. Active military and veterans may keep their caps on while rendering the military salute for the singing of the Canadian and United States national anthems. Performing tonight's national anthems, please welcome to the ice the Imlay City High School Choir.
Oh, what a Friday night we have for Firebirds hockey as the Birds take on the Soo Greyhounds in a massive Western Conference showdown here coming down this stretch in the Ontario Hockey League's regular season. Delighted to have you here. I'm Brian Gardner. This is the Firebirds Hockey Network, and it is time to look at our starting goaltending matchup as we begin with the familiar face of Mason Bakari. For the 48th time this season, he takes the net for the Flint Firebirds, 33-8, 3-2 .265 the goals against, .910 is the save percentage for Mason Vicari, who gets the nod for the Firebirds. On the other side of things, it's Landon Miller, Detroit Red Wings draft pick for the 33rd time this season. He takes the net for the Soo Greyhounds, 19-11-0-2. His goals against average is .278, and the save percentage sits at .892. Firebirds here on home ice, in front of a crowd that's still filing its way in. They got the blue jerseys attacking right to left. There's Chris Thibodeau and company getting themselves ready to go. As in the road whites trimmed in red, it's the Soo Greyhounds as they will line up going left to right. We got 20 minutes going up on the clock. It is time for some hockey. The Firebirds and the Greyhounds. Puck down, it's controlled by the Hounds. We're underway, period number 1. Is a go here from Flint, Michigan. Brought in by Travis Hayes with a shot. It's high and wide of the net. And now Chris Thibodeau gets on it for Flint into the neutral zone. Pankredich back for the Greyhounds. Dumped in by Brady Martin. Run down by Dryden Allen for the Firebirds. As Allen collides with Marco Mignosa, playing in his 300th OHL game today. Is Mignosa coming off a hat trick in what was .299 on the road last night in Windsor for the Greyhounds. Firebirds with Aspinall. Through center ice he comes along to Thibodeau, and he got it forward for Jamie Lombardi, who cycles over to the far wing side. That does skip away and roll all the way down to the Firebirds defensive zone. Brady Martin is on it first. Martin for Laus. Shot one wide, and there is Jeremy Martin back out to Winkelhofer. Passing through, that got stick checked away, and on his horse is Jacob Battaglia. Formerly a Flames prospect, now his NHL contract belongs to the New York Rangers after a trade at last week's NHL trade deadline. That is slid along to the left wing side and dumped in by the Greyhounds. There's Jeremy Martin after it still, and McKenzie behind the net to Martin, who bounces one towards the front of the net. And it is the Firebirds out the other way with Anderson. That is brought through center ice, and the Greyhounds are on it instead. So for the Sioux, they do control in the defensive zone with Jakob Winkelhofer. He'll wait for his team to execute a line change. 18 minutes and 16 seconds on the clock here in period number 1, as that is dumped in again by the Hounds, and we got icing going against the Greyhounds. The Firebirds will have an attacking zone face-off coming up. Well, Flint gets itself situated in the attacking zone. As the Xavier Tessier, Ignat Pazzi, and Brady Smith line sees the ice for the first time today. Tessier scored the first goal of the game for the Firebirds in their come-from-behind 4-2 victory over the Windsor Spitfires last time the Birds were on the ice here in this building on Saturday. As Flint takes it away off the lost face-off, Pazzi with a shot. And Miller was hugging the post there, and they're going to blow it dead because the net actually became dislodged. So 18:04 to go in the first period. Flint nothing, Sioux nothing. And Landon Miller watching on as the officiating crew gets to work. And it'll be an attacking zone right wing circle face-off for the Firebirds. Landon Miller was a 4th-round draft pick of the Detroit Red Wings in 2024. And he has become the backup goaltender here in the Sioux now with Carter George, the LA Kings prospect, as the normal go-to guy between the pipes, but George backing up today. And it is something that this Sioux team, they're able to keep those goaltenders fresh. The result of having a strong tandem following the trade to acquire Carter George. Croskery in the defensive zone. And he tried to send it through center. James Paul on the intercept. And the Firebirds dump it back in as the Greyhounds now cycle it up the near wing. Ignat Pazzi steps through center with it. Pazzi splitting the defense onto Tessier. Xavier Tessier guides one behind the net. And here they come the other way. The Greyhounds at the blue line. They do dump it in. Winkelhofer to grab it as they slide one along the left wing side. That puck is brought through center ice now by the Greyhounds, and Zvolinski had it knocked off of his stick. Firebirds dump it in. Spencer Evans will take it over to the near wing once more. That is brought out the other way, and now Morgan, after Josh Bonnyman laid a hit on Gillen. And that puck is taken back by the Greyhounds. Firebirds buzzing after it though. Bryson Morgan sends in right wing corner. It does slide back to the near side. Keegan Gillen is on it. And brought out the other way by the Greyhounds. Brady Smith finds Jordan Sharon. Sharon gains the zone. He'll carry it behind the net. Sharon right back behind. It's fed in front. As Minyosa was on it, it does skitter over to the near wing. Long range shot is held onto by Vakari. So now the Firebirds nothing and the Greyhounds nothing, and it will be an attacking zone faceoff coming up here on the right wing circle. As Brady Martin gets set to take that draw for the Greyhounds. Martin coming off of a goal in their overtime win over the Windsor Spitfires last night. From the Firebirds' perspective, the Greyhounds winning that game definitely does help, but Birds would be a little greedy and wish that the Spits didn't pick up a point in the process. Here's Martin in with a shot, and he hit the iron as that bounces to the far wing and rolls in left wing corner, right back behind the net now. That is played out by the Firebirds, and Jimmy Lombardi through center. Onto the right wing, Thibodeau burning in with a shot, kicked aside by Miller. Puck does find the stick of Travis Hayes, and Hayes over the blue line. The Firebirds get it back with Aspinall. Big Nathan Aspinall leading the Firebirds in points basically all season long. As it's now Aspinall to backhand one in, and Chris Thibodeau will chase. They cycle it to the far wing side and brought through center now by Jeremy Martin. Martin tumbling down as he gets knocked off the puck, and the Birds are out the other way. On to Darian Anderson. It was Padrekar to try to spring him, and that puck is dumped back in by the Greyhounds for icing with 15 minutes and 40 seconds to go here in the first period. We get a look at the scoring chance for Brady Martin through traffic, using Rylan Fellinger as a bit of a screen there. Flung it towards the net. It hit the post to the blocker's side of Mason Vakari. Brady Martin, who was the 5th overall pick in the 2025 NHL draft to the Nashville Predators, did get 3 games for Nashville at the beginning of the season, and he has missed some time due to injury. That injury suffered at the World Juniors while playing for Canada, but starting to round back into form coming down the stretch here for the Soo Greyhounds, a team that could be described as a bit of a dark horse coming out of the Western Conference, currently sitting 4th in the West as the Firebirds carry it behind the net. Got it up ice right wing, and that puck is grabbed by Winkelhofer, but Padrekar took it away for Flint. Urban Padrekar back to Anderson, and that puck now in the left wing corner. It is brought out by McKenzie, and he tried to stretch one through that bounces back to the near side. Now fed it to the left wing. It's rolled in for icing. Going against the Hounds, 14:51 to go in the first period. Really nice crowd on hand here in Flint. Crowds have been excellent as of late. As the Firebirds, if they pick up a single point today, not only would they set a record for most points in a single season in franchise history, it would also be enough to clinch home ice in the first round of the OHL playoffs. A London Knights loss today would also clinch for home ice in the first round for the Firebirds, guaranteed to play games 1 and 2 on home ice, which, as the Birds flip one in, each of the last 2 seasons under the Paul Flash era here in Flint, the Birds have been the lower seed, the number 8 seed in the 23-24 season against the London Knights, and the number 6 seed last year against the Kitchener Rangers. As it is brought along out to the high slide here by Justin Cloutier. He throws one on net, easily stopped and held onto by Vakari. 14:21 to go in this first period, and Once more, the faceoff will come in the D zone. Well, these teams played an entertaining hockey game just 9 days ago on the 4th of March. 4-3, a shootout loss for the Firebirds, as it was Jeremy Martin who tied the game in the third period for the Greyhounds after the Birds had taken the lead. Flint dumps the puck in, and we'll roll back for Landon Miller to play it. And it does cycle to the far side. Back into the neutral zone it goes, and Firebirds with James Paul on for Bryson Morgan. Keegan Gillen goes to pick it up on the right wing. That is chipped in deep, and Mason Vicari takes it for Flint. Near sider, Bon Padre Carr. That is brought out to Morgan. Bryson Morgan just over the red line. Morgan to get in. He will feed one towards the front of the net, and Gillen picks it up instead. Now Keegan Gillen has missed some time due to injury this season. Back in there now for the Hounds. Chris Thibodeau for the Firebirds on the near wing boards. And there is Bryson Morgan. Morgan took it away. Over for Aspinall. Score! Nate Aspinall wires one home. And the Firebirds take the lead. Morgan to Aspinall, and it's 1-0 Flint. Well, Bryson Morgan took it off the wall. Aspinall was calling for it. And Morgan set him up, and Aspinall sent it home. Nathan Aspinall picks up goal number 31 on the season. And it was a dart right through the glove side of Landon Miller. So with 13:29 to go in the first period, Flint is off and running with a 1-0 lead. And the ensuing faceoff controlled by the Greyhounds. Onto the right wing for Brady Martin. That does dump in, and Rylan Fellinger to guide it along. Couldn't find Thibodeau, but it is Croskery to go back and get it. A big cheer for the Aspinall goal announcement as Flint chases with Lombardi, and the puck is picked up by Thibodeau, eventually on to Aspinall one more time. Puck in the left wing boards. It pops into the air. Thibodeau can't see it. There it is. And now guided up ice by the Hounds. There's Hayes for Martin. Onto the left wing. It's dumped in deep. And the Firebirds over to get to it. Dryden Allen going to guide one up ice. And the puck picked up by Harris Pankredich. Back over to the far wing side. There's Lucas Fisher, former Sarnia Sting captain. As it's brought along the blue line, and they gain the zone, but they've done so offside with 12 minutes and 31 seconds to go in the first period. Well, the Firebirds have taken the lead. They've done so off the stick of their captain, Nate Aspinall. 1-0 Flint with 12:31 to go in the first. We're back in a moment on the Firebirds Hockey Network.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Dordt Financial Credit Union. Don't let your checking account just sit there. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. For whatever you're thinking, dreaming, or doing, Boost Checking from Dordt Financial. Fulfilling dreams, supporting community for over 70 years. Official credit union of the Flint Firebirds.
1-0 the score here on FHN, thanks to the captain, Nate Aspinall, and that's exactly who we're looking at. He's one shy of the assist record set by Amadeus Lombardi in the 2023 season. Brian, back to you.
Thanks, Zach McConzick. You'll hear more from Zach in just a few moments as Aspinall can tie that assist record of 57 with, well, an assist today. He's already got the goal as that puck does bounce back over to Jakob Winkelhofer. And they send it up ice off the stick of Jeremy Martin. Puck is fed along the near side and broken out by Kevin He. He over the blue line into the attacking zone. Rips one on net. Stick save is made as that puck does pop to the far wing and work right back behind for Spencer Evans. Here come the Greyhounds trailing 1-0. Right wing on for Laus as that is dumped in and it's icing with 11:44 to go here in the first period. So the Birds 1 and the Hounds nothing, and the Firebirds will set up an attacking zone face-off. As Flint leads on that goal from Aspinall. So for Aspinall, he is up to now 87 points on the season. And all this talk about his assist totals. Aspinall enters play today 2 points shy of Nikita Klepov for the league lead of 88. So he's still tracking that as well. Gets himself within one, and a big game today would go a long way towards the potential scoring title. For the Firebirds captain, there is Urban Padrekar on to Jimmy Lombardi. As from the red line, that's dumped in. Slowed up by Miller. Behind the net, it's Evans. Spencer Evans over to the near wing side. And it's broken through center by Cloutier. Cloutier to gain the zone. Curl in the left wing corner. And now down low, it goes to Brown. Christopher Brown carries behind the net. Dumps one on net, and a save is made by Vicari. As now the Greyhounds with Lucas Fisher. Back to the near side, Cloutier. That's dumped in, and Padrekar got there first for the Firebirds. Thibodeau. Now Lombardi. And he couldn't settle it down, and the Hounds do dump it right back in. Slowed up by Mason Vicari, and here's Padrekar. Would break it out through center ice onto Smith, and roll back down Fisher to get there. Near side Croskery. Snapped it up ice, and it's going to go over the blue line offside with 10:36 to go in the first period. 1-0 Firebirds lead. They're visitors from Sault Ste. Marie, the Greyhounds. A special hello to our audience from the OHL's Friday Night Faceoff. Happens every Friday night. Game on the OHL social media channels in addition to FloHockey. So those of you checking this out via those expanded options, thanks for being here. If you're enjoying yourself as the Birds have a 1-0 lead over the Soo Greyhounds. Brian Gardner hanging out with you. We've got Kyle Keegan and Zach McConzick, who will both be alongside later. And there is Xavier Tessier, who does not win the face-off. Now it is Winkelhofer up ice to Zwolinski. Zwolinski over the red line. In for Sharon, a shot, stick checked by Oljanski as the Firebirds get on it with Tessier. Xavier Tessier to flip it out, paying credit to the blue line, couldn't hold it. And here come the Birds, Tessier. Onto the right wing for Smith, that is dumped in deeper. Firebirds get to it. Run down by Pazzi. Ignat Pazzi for Flint. Circles out to the blue line, shot was blocked. Pazzi into the right wing corner now, and the Greyhounds took it away. Tobias Zwolinski. Right along to the right side. Sharon dumps it in. Jordan Sharon, one of two Pittsburgh Penguins prospects on the Greyhounds roster. A huge check applied by Martin. Knocked the bucket of Graziano off, and there's a delayed penalty coming against the Greyhounds. And the extra attacker getting on for Flint as Jimmy Lombardi storms up ice. Lombardi for Thibodeau. And Thibodeau scampers over to it in that left wing corner. Out to Oljanski, couldn't hold it at the blue line. Flint's gonna have to reload and neutral ice. With 9:25 to go in the first period, it's a delayed penalty against the Greyhounds. So 6-on-5 with the extra attacker for the Firebirds as Vicari has made his way to the bench. Shot by Kevin He, hit a skate. And now grabbed by Travis Hayes. So whistle and the indication of a check to the head has been given. Luca Graziano got hit hard by Brady Martin, and you see the helmet go flying, and for that the Sioux captain will take a seat in the penalty box where today's backup goaltender Carter George is sitting instead of sitting over on the bench. There's Martin. None too pleased that he has been ushered over to the sin bin. I'm gonna say, as an aside, the C on his chest, I think that might be the biggest C in the league. As Jimmy Lombardi lines up for this draw. And the Firebirds, for the first time today, get to work on the power play. 23.3% on the season of the Birds. It is the 7th best power play in the Ontario Hockey League. Face-off controlled by the Hounds, usually by the Firebirds to go back to get it. And that will be Aspinall to slither down the left wing. Aspinall, Anderson with a shot and a kick saved by Miller. Another puck in the left wing corner. Fisher trying to pin it. It is loose at some skates, and Anderson looking to slide it along, but Brown got there first. And Christopher Brown with a successful clear for the Sioux. 30 seconds gone on the LJ Inc. power play for the Firebirds. 8 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the first. He, along for Lombardi. Jimmy Lombardi, high slot. Slides over to Kevin He behind the net. Now right wing Aspinall is the game's only goal thus far. It's Graziano. Couldn't handle it. Mignosa out the other way. Marco Mignosa into the attacking zone as he backhands one in. McKenzie with 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first period. 55 seconds on the Flint power play. Here's Aspinall. Right side Lombardi gains it. 2 goals his last time out in the 4-2 win over the Windsor Spitfires on Saturday in this building. Cleared by the Sioux. And the Birds are back on it once again. Flint hasn't had a lot of time sustained in the offensive zone here on this power play chance. As it is Chris Thibodeau through center ice. Dumped in, Miller will slow it up, but Battaglia to get there. Shot turned aside, rebound, score! It's Brady Smith! A power play goal, and the Birds have doubled their lead to make it 2-0. Well, Miller got caught out of his net. He was scrambling to get back in. Heads up from Jacob Battaglia to throw that on net. The rebound popped right over to Brady Smith. And Smith, the former Soo Greyhound, from a sharp angle, sneaks it past his former teammate. And the Firebirds have doubled their lead. 7:39 out of play in the second period. And it's 2-0 Flint. Well, here in period number 1 as the Firebirds just past the halfway mark. Brady Smith, that's his 9th goal of the season. And the former Soo Greyhound who was acquired in the trade that sent Jeremy Martin to the Sioux. He picks up his 8th goal as a Firebird, his 9th of the season. And Brady Smith checks in with a power play tally. Well, here are the Hounds to get forced into the neutral zone. Lombardi trying to knock it free, and instead that's going to be Martin able to bring it in now for the Greyhounds. Brady Martin to the left wing corner. Cloutier back to Martin. Loads and shoots, and a kick saved by Vakari. And it will be the Firebirds the other way with Chris Thibodeau. Thibodeau to Aspinall. Left wing Thibodeau. As Thibodeau spills in the corner, it is the Greyhounds out the other way. And that puck brought along by Sharon. Firebirds counter with Aspinall. Nathan Aspinall is in as he got checked into the left wing corner. It's the Firebirds behind the net with Bryson Morgan. Morgan for Graziano. Luca Graziano shoots, tipped in front. Aspinall hunting it as that puck is behind the net, taken once again by the Greyhounds through center ice. 2 assists already for Chris Thibodeau today, as Jacob Battaglia and Thibodeau pick up the 2 assists on that goal scored by Brady Smith. Aspinall's goal was assisted by Bryson Morgan and Chris Thibodeau. Both of Thibodeau's assists of the secondary variety. As the Firebirds bring it in, they dump it in left wing corner. And he's poked along the near side, and Jordan Sharon. It does roll into the neutral zone. Firebirds on it with Tessier. It is McKenzie now for the Greyhounds to dump it further. Birds with Podrekar. There's a big collision behind the net. The Firebirds will send it through center to Winkelhofer. Rolled it to the left side, Spencer Evans. And now in the neutral zone, it is dumped in by the Hounds with 5:34 to go in the first period. 2-0 Flint. Long pass off the stick of Ignat Pazzi. And to the right wing, Tessier on the hop. Instead, it's going to be Brady Smith to gain the zone. Smith for the Hounds, left wing, one-time chance from Hayes. And hit a stick and floats wide along the near wing. Gillen with a shot, that didn't get through. And the Birds to try to hack it along. Right wing corner, Minosa on it. Hayes trying to extract the puck. It is sent over to the far wing side. Evans, blue line Martin. It's Brady Martin. Goes one through and a glove save made by Mason Vicari with 4 minutes and 56 seconds to go in the first period. Firebirds with a 2-0 lead over the Soo Greyhounds. Less than 5 minutes to go, 4:56 in the first period. Back in a moment on the Firebirds Hockey Network.
Missed his pass, but Tavares keeps it going, and it's John Tavares behind the net. Coming out in front, John scores! John Tavares! They finally caught lightning in a bottle!
2-0 the score here on FHN. Firebirds up and in the lead, and what a season it's been for them so far. They've matched the franchise record for most points in a season with 89. That was in the 2021 season, and they're currently sitting at 41 wins, one shy of the franchise record, 42 wins in that same season, and there's still 4 games to go after tonight. So we'll see how the Birds can close out this season. Brian?
Thank you, Zach. Yes, quite a year it's been for the Firebirds, who, as you opened up this season, there was optimism for sure, and I think expectations may have been exceeded for this Flint group, certainly from around the league, who was not looked at as a team that was going to contend for the top spot in the Western Conference and set franchise records. And what a year it's been for the Firebirds, who have their eyes set on a much larger prize than just the points and wins record in franchise history. Sent to the near side now for Kevin He, who plays it backwards onto the stick of Luca Graziano, and he slices through center ice. Kevin He in, shoots, and a save made by Miller with 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the opening 20. So Flint 2, Soo nothing. Firebirds with goals from Nathan Aspinall and Brady Smith. I'll look again at that scoring chance created by Kevin He. Trade deadline acquisition by the Firebirds and the GM Dave McParlin. You know, with the last time we were on the air on Saturday, longtime Firebirds goaltender Nathan Day was in the building. He had a few days off from the Fort Wayne Comets as he begins his pro career in the Edmonton Oilers system. And he was telling me before we brought him on for our intermission conversation, shot by Padre Carr and a save made by Miller, how excited he was, and seeing when the Firebirds made those trades at the trade deadline, really noting the excitement around the franchise and maybe a twinge of jealousy, but Nathan Day was all smiles being back in the building that he called home for a long time. And he said he's followed closely and is rooting on the boys from afar. That is dumped in now by the Greyhounds, and the Birds are on it with Tessier. And is one-handed up the ice, right wing side. Brady Smith, now Ignat Pazzi, but picked off by Pankredich. And Quinn McKenzie will gain the zone on the right wing. James Paul cut him off. Still the Hounds, though, with Jeremy Martin out to Pankredich. Shot floated wide, bounced off the end boards, and it is lifted into the neutral zone onto Pazzi, just over the red line. That is sailed down to the right wing side, and back to get it is Fisher for the Greyhounds. We'll hear from Nathan Aspinall at the first intermission, checking in with Zach McConzick, who you've already heard from twice in this opening period. Firebirds through center ice now. Bonnyman gains the zone, but Murata was in early. That's offside against the Birds. 3 minutes and 6 seconds to play here in this opening 20 minutes. 2-0 Firebirds as the team will change up its lines. Now the sixth and final time that the Birds and the Hounds will meet up this season. Flint with 4 wins and 1 shootout loss in the previous 5. Birds won all 3 games that they played just across the Soo Locks in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Brought in by Martin, and that's going to be offside again against the Greyhounds with 2:53 to go here in period number 1. The Firebirds, they got their trips to the Soo out of the way pretty early. They were there in November, then on New Year's Eve, and for the final time on the 6th of February. 3 wins. They were by 3-2, 3-1, and 5-1 final scores. Now the Birds will hope to make it 5 wins and points in all 6 with a win here today. Aspinall in. Aspinall for Lombardi. Didn't quite get the shot off. Nathan Aspinall trying to set up Jimmy Lombardi on the back door. Now with 2.5 to go in the first period. And he's cycled over to the far side and brought forward by Mignosa. Marco Mignosa, as we mentioned earlier in this period, hitting a very cool milestone, his 300th Ontario Hockey League game. Well, Mignosa was a Tampa Bay Lightning prospect as they bring it onto the near side, brought in by Martin. On to Pankratich, who shot one that was swept away by the stick of Mason Vicari. The Firebirds trying to get it out. It's Winkelhofer still with it, but Thibodeau instead. As that puck popped back out towards the blue line, Pankratich backhands one in front, tipped and stopped by Vicari. Now Pankratich again, shot it wide of the net. Left wing corner, it's Jeremy Martin. Now towards the blue line, that's worked in left wing corner, and Pankratich to pick it up. Martin was calling for a one-timer. They cycle it out for a long-range shot and a glove save by Vicari. That's his 6th of the opening period with 91 seconds to go in the first. Mason Vicari's got some fresh pads, breaking them in and using them for the first time in a game today. Kevin He and company line up for the face-off. To finish the thought on Mignosa, I think the coolest thing there is he's played all of his 300 OHL games with the Soo Greyhounds. Was a second-round pick in the 21-22 season. That's brought in now by the Firebirds with Darian Anderson to dump it in, and now along the near wing side, it's Kevin He. He's one backwards to Paul, now Battaglia. Onto the right side, James Paul. And here's Urban Padrekar. Firebirds overager onto Jacob Battaglia. Battaglia to snake it down the left wing. He, and it poked off of his stick, now Cloutier. As that puck is worked into the neutral zone, and on the right side, it's Andrew to dump in right wing corner. Flint goes back to get it. Right behind the net, far side for Anderson. Forward to Kevin He. 2-on-2 with Battaglia. Gave it to Battaglia. Cuts in as Spencer Evans trailing the play. Bumped him off his line. Now to the left wing, it's Padrekar. Slot for He. Backhanded shot, didn't get through. Evans breaks it out. They'll gain the zone, Mignosa. Drop pass Martin. Brady Martin in front. He throws one poked aside by Vicari. And the Firebirds behind the net now. Jacob Battaglia. Martin working on him as Brady Martin does take it away. To the front of the net it goes. It is flipped out of there. Into the neutral zone now, Fisher. Near side, Lucas Fisher. Fidgets in. Fisher with 7 seconds in the period. Left wing, Croskery with a shot. Stopped by Vicari. Can't quite cover, but there's the horn. And that'll do it for the opening 20. Well, Firebirds off to a nice start as they take a 2-0 lead into the first intermission. Goals from Nate Aspinall and Brady Smith in that first period. The former will be our guest downstairs with Zach McConzick in just a moment's time, as again the Firebirds lead the Soo Greyhounds 2-0 after 1 period of play. Shots on goal actually favor the Hounds now 9-8. Mason Vicari with 9 saves in that opening 20 minutes. It was 6 saves on 8 shots for Landon Miller as he gets the start in net for the Greyhounds. And again, all Firebirds though on the scoreboard. It's 2-0 Flint after 20 minutes of play. Welcome back inside our broadcast booth. I'm Brian Gardner. Thanks for hanging out today. Glad to have you here. Again, Zach McConzick will talk with the big man himself. Nathan Aspinall scored his 31st goal of the season in that first period. It got the goal scoring started for the Firebirds, who then added on to that with a power play tally from a sharp angle from Brady Smith. An impressive opening 20 for the Firebirds, capitalizing on scoring chances, and this big Friday night crowd certainly seems to be enjoying what they're watching. as the Birds, who are trying to set a new franchise record for most points in a single season. They've already matched their former record with 89. A win today would not only give them the points record, it would match the most wins in franchise history. That would be number 42, as the Birds are still hunting that top spot in the Western Conference and the West Division, trying to bring home their first West Division title in franchise history. So it's 2-0 Firebirds after one period of play, still with 2 to go on this Soo Greyhounds team that has spent a lot of time on the road over the last couple of weeks, finally getting to head home following this game. Firebirds would love to capitalize on maybe some road-weary legs here today. Greyhounds in 4th place in the Western Conference with plenty to play for themselves, both trying to catch the Windsor Spitfires in front and hold off the London Knights, hard charging from behind. Sound familiar for where the Firebirds are sitting? As the Birds trying to do so for first in the conference with Kitchener and then hold off those Windsor Spitfires. There's Zach McConzick. That means he's ready with Nathan Aspinall, so we'll go downstairs just now.
Thanks, Brian. Nathan, with your goal, you're 1 point off the lead in the OHL. What's been the key to the success this season?
I think just the team's working really hard. I think we've practiced hard the whole year, and we're just focused on winning. That's the main goal.
Speaking of your teammates, how easy has it been to build up that chemistry with Lombardi and Chris Thibodeau on that top line?
Yeah, I played with Lombardi for a while now, and I live with him, and we have tons of chemistry, and it's really good.
You guys have one game left at home. What does it mean to play in front of these fans one more time?
I think it means the world. I think we're really excited for playoffs too, to have an amazing crowd here. So yeah, it's really thrilling.
Appreciate the time. Thank you. Brian?
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Aspie. Nate Aspinall hoping it's many, many more games on home ice as opposed to the last regular season game. As we've talked about quite a few times, this team with its eyes set on a lofty prize and hoping to be playing playoff hockey deep into the spring here in mid-Michigan. Firebirds with a 2-0 lead over the Soo Greyhounds. And it was the big man himself, Nate Aspinall, sending it past Landon Miller on the blocker's side. We got that highlight and more when we come back here on the first intermission report. 2-0 Birds. This is Firebirds Hockey Network.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Dort Financial Credit Union. Don't let your checking account just sit there. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. For whatever you're thinking, dreaming, or doing, Boost Checking from Dort Financial. Fulfilling dreams, supporting community for over 70 years. Official credit union of the Flint Firebirds.
Pirani's Hockey World, dominating the game since 1976. From rookies to pros, we've got the gear to give you the edge. Bauer, CCM, Warrior, True, every brand you trust. Every level of play, sticks, skates, training gear, you name it, we've got it. Stay at the top of your game with Bauer Pro Sharp Advantage skate sharpening. Precision so sharp, it's like skating on air. Plus, join our free loyalty program and score points on every dollar spent. Don't settle. Gear up where the competition shops. Pirani's Hockey World, the toy store for the hockey player. Find your nearest location today.
March is here, and that means one thing: basketball's biggest month of the year. But at Shea Chevrolet, we're bringing our own kind of madness. It's Match Madness, and we're matching your down payment dollar for dollar up to $500.
Match up to $500.
That's right. You put down $500 and we'll match it. That means more savings, more flexibility, and more Chevrolet in your driveway. Drive home in the Chevy you've been dreaming about with less out of pocket. But don't wait. This Match Madness event ends March 15th. Come play Match Madness at Shea Chevrolet. Just saying.
Out of life.
Welcome back to FHN First Period Intermission Report. Firebirds out to a 2-0 lead here at the Dort. Kyle Keegan here with you for the intermission. And let's get right into the highlights from that first 20 minutes of action. As we talked about, it's been all Flint so far. Look at this cross-ice pass from Bryson Morgan to the captain, Nathan Aspinall, goal number 31 on the year. Let's take another look. Thibodeau and Morgan with the work along the boards. Beautiful pass, better shot over the pad of Landon Miller. That far side shot makes it 1-0. Number 31 for the captain, as I mentioned, and now, a misplay behind the net. Battaglia with a great heads-up play to get it in front. Miller on the rebound right to Brady Smith, his 9th goal of the season. That one came on the power play. That made it 2-0 as I welcome back in my good friend Zachary McConzick. Zach, big time first period, 2-0 Flint. Better start than they got off to against the Sioux last time they played them.
No, for sure. And that power play goal at the end definitely spiked things for Flint, got the energy flowing.
Absolutely. We've talked about how special teams has been a big time factor for Flint in their games at home so far this season. It certainly was in their last matchup against Windsor, and just like that, 1-for-1 on that Brady Smith goal.
Yeah, it's going to be huge going into playoffs, especially when you're getting power play goals from your third line like Brady Smith was able to find the back of the net. It's going to be huge to go into a deep playoff run for Flint this year.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And this is once again a team that feels like you're playing against you're playing in a playoff matchup against a Sioux team that is right behind you there in the standings, or at least kind of jockeying for their own position. But they've gotten off to a slow start, and they really haven't been able to generate much offense early on.
Yeah, I think it starts with goaltending. I mean, they're not playing Carter George. He's one of the best in the OHL. And they're not being able to get out of their defensive zone, kind of get those dump-in passes and get to Flint's offensive zone. And that's just kind of a credit to the way Flint's been playing in their defense today so far.
And so far, only 8 shots for the Firebirds, but they've scored on 2 of them. So like you mentioned, goaltending has been a factor. You saw how good Carter George was last time out 9 days ago against the Firebirds, but here today, Landon Miller only stopping 6 of those 8 shots like we talked about, and that second goal really a mistake by him.
Yeah, speaking of Carter George, in that shootout, he kind of took that game over for Sioux, but going into this one, having Miller in net, it's a different game for Sioux, and sometimes you're going to have mistakes when you got a different goalie in there, and that was just a really tough shot from Brady Smith down on that low left wing, and he was able to make that angle and find the back of the net.
Speaking of Brady, can get that kind of second
Pretty good.
Stay out of the penalty box. Go 20 minutes. Pretty.
Raised here, we went to school here, we live here and play here, employing hundreds of Michigan residents. Goyette Mechanical, a committed Michigan company providing the best in plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical sales and service, and 100% satisfaction guaranteed. A big reason why you gotta get Goyette.
Gotta get Goyette!
Two 2-0 Birds lead the Soo Greyhounds. The first intermission here from the Dort Financial Center. Thanks for being here. I'm Brian Gardner. Time to look at what else is happening today in the Ontario Hockey League, as it does begin on the out-of-town scoreboard with the Ottawa 67s up 2-0 over the Brampton Steelheads on the road in Brampton. Thomas Vanderberg and Philip Ekberg both on the board with goals in that first period as the 67s are off and running with a 1-0 lead. The Erie Otters hosting the Kingston Frontenacs. Now Erie, who's the Western Conference's last place team, well, they currently lead by a score of 2-1 over Kingston. Kingston, the 6th seed at the moment in the Eastern Conference. Malik McGowan got this goal scoring started, but then Ulysses Lombardi and Julius Sari both scored for the Otters, who on home ice have a 2-1 lead over the Frontenacs. Kitchener 2 and Owen Sound 1 as the Firebirds fans looking to do some scoreboard watching there. Won't love what that scoreboard currently reads. Kitchener with goals from Andrew Vermeulen and Cameron Reed. Caden Taylor has the lone goal for Owen Sound, and that is at the first intermission at the odd in Kitchener. And it's 2-1. Rangers lead the attack. London 3, Guelph 1. Remember, a win today or any point today for the Firebirds would give them home ice advantage. It clinched in the first round. It would be no lower than 4th. It would also be the case if London loses in any way, shape, or form today. But right now, the Knights on home ice have a 3-1 lead at the first intermission. Will Nickel, Evan Van Gorp, and Henry Bristevich each scored for the Knights. Carter Stevens has Guelph's only goal. Remember, Guelph is jockeying for position in that 6, 7, and 8 situation in the Western Conference, so a loss for them would not be what they wanted to see. The Windsor Spitfires trying to keep pace with the Firebirds. They have a 2-1 lead over the Sarnia Sting in Sarnia, as it is Liam Greentree and Anthony Cristoforo on the board for the Spits. Jack Van Volsen had the game's first goal for Sarnia, but the Sting are down 2-1 despite outshooting the Spitfires 14-8 in that first period. And it's 0-0 at the first intermission in Sudbury between the Brantford Bulldogs and the Sudbury Wolves. Now, Brantford still in first place in the Eastern Conference and overall in the OHL. They're 6 points up on Ottawa for that division lead and 5 points up on Barrie in the Eastern Conference. And on the other side of things, those Sudbury Wolves, they currently do have the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, trying to lock that up and clinch their spot. That's a potential first-round playoff matchup preview. Out-of-town scoreboard features the Birds on the road for the next 3 games before returning home on the 21st, a week from tomorrow, against those London Knights. Flint in Saginaw tomorrow to finish out the Coors Light Ice 75 Divide Cup. It's a 7:05 puck drop. We got radio coverage for you at 6:50 on US 103.1 FM. Then a little Tuesday, Wednesday road trip, Kitchener and Owen Sound. That Kitchener game is a big one for the Firebirds if they want to take first place in the Western Conference. Both those puck drops at 7. And then again, a week from tomorrow, the last home game of the regular season, as the London Knights visit on Fan Appreciation Night. First 2,000 fans will get a pair of Thunder Sticks, courtesy of the game night sponsor, Dover Doors. Again, our game today, the Firebirds 2 and the Soo Greyhounds nothing at the end of one period, and it's almost time to drop the puck for the second, which means it's time for us to take our break. As we'll step aside, we'll be back with the second period puck drop coming up after this. Firebirds 2, Greyhounds nothing on FHN.
Did you know Shea buys cars? The Shea Megalot can save you time and money no matter the situation.
Are service bills adding up?
We'll buy your car.
Don't just turn your lease in.
We'll buy your car.
¿Tu pago está muy alto?
Nosotros compramos tu carro.
Credit cards adding up?
We'll still buy your car.
Tired of Marketplace?
We'll buy your car.
Behind on your payments?
We'll buy your car. Over on your miles? We'll still buy your car. Shea Megalot can trade your car for cash, online or in-store. Get more for your trade at SheaBuysCars.com. Just saying.
Even your home is sick of its old windows. Time to kick those old, drafty panes to the curb and upgrade to the energy-efficient Michigan window. For 1 week only, save 60% off installation or no interest for 72 months on all new custom vinyl window projects. All on top of our already unbeatable factory direct prices. D&W, trusted home improvements built over 3 generations.
Wow, I can't believe we're in here. Does Justin know you're doing this?
Look at this beauty. He inducted himself.
You can do that?
Of course you can't do that.
Smells like a
manager.
I'm sorry, but I don't speak French. But that's not the reason I cheer for the Leafs.
Flint Firebirds hockey is even better with a group. The Firebirds offer discounted tickets for groups of 10 or more people for any of our home games. Perfect for entertaining clients, celebrating a special occasion, or just having a fun night out with family, friends, or coworkers. We have the easy and affordable plan for you. Plus, the bigger the group, the bigger the discount. For more information, visit flintfirebirds.com or contact the Dort Financial Center box office to book your group outing today.
The Ontario Hockey League, more than just a game.
Schaefer sprung loose and he scored!
On the ice, the OHL is the #1 provider of talent to the National Hockey League, developing the game's next stars. Off the ice, giving back matters. Since 2010, OHL teams have invested over $41 million in scholarships and raised nearly $8 million annually for charities in minor hockey, shaping futures beyond the rink. Excellence on the ice, opportunity beyond it. The Ontario Hockey League, where the journey begins.
Hockey players back on the ice is usually a good sign. Firebirds with a 2-0 lead over the Soo Greyhounds, and we're ready to drop the puck for period number 2. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Brian. We've got the Firebirds and the Soo Greyhounds here this evening. As again, Flint with a 2-0 lead. Thanks to goals from Nathan Aspinall and Brady Smith. Greyhounds will try and cut into that here in this second period. Firebirds with other ideas. And we get the delight of watching it all happen. 20 minutes going up on the clock, left to right for the Birds in the second, right to left for the Hounds. Here we go again, puck down, it's controlled by Flint. And the second period is underway. Ryland Fellinger on for Aspinall, left wing side. And he brings it in for Lombardi, who rimmed it along the right wing. Marco Mignosa took it away. And Brady Martin shot out of a cannon into the attacking zone. Travis Hayes with a shot, and they're going to blow it dead. With 19:43 to go in this second period. I believe that one was actually whistled dead offside, as they will bring the face-off back into the neutral zone. Aspinall was all business when Zach McConzick caught up with him at the conclusion of the first period. Another nice crowd on hand here at the Dort Financial Center in Flint. Does appear to be a decent amount of fans standing right behind the sections as the Firebirds win the draw and played off the near wing boards up through center when Fisher does take it and give it over to the right side. Brought in by the Greyhounds as they drop it off to Mignosa right there for Croskree. Then one in front for a chance for Mignosa, stopped by Vakari. And Mason Vakari does clamp down and hang on to it. 19:22 to go in the second period. Flint 2, Soo nothing. Now, if you were with us in that first intermission, the final segment, we were talking about what was coming up next for the Firebirds. Next 3 games are on the road. I'll get a look at that chance once again for the Greyhounds. There's Mignosa on the doorstep. And Vakari able to cover and hang on. After that, the Birds back home, fan appreciation night. That's also overager night. So there'll be a pregame ceremony honoring Mason Vakari, Urban Padrekar, Chris Thibodeau. Firebirds 3 OAs this year. A chance to sit down for an interview conversation with each of the 3 OAs earlier this week. That will all be packaged up as part of the ceremony, and really enjoyed the conversation. Enjoyed having all 3 of those in the Firebirds organization, as that is taken by the Greyhounds, who feed it up ice right side. Off the stick of Louse, that will go out of play. 19:02 to go in the second period. Greyhounds win the draw. Now it's Winkelhofer. He sends it in and rattled it to the far side. And that puck is dumped behind the net. Now Daryl's Oljanski. And Flint trying to dig it off the wall. Graziano with it onto the right side for Anderson. That puck Rolled back down to the other end. Firebirds to chase it, paying credits to pick it up. As they will send it up ice off the stick of Martin. It goes into the Hounds bench and out of play. 18:36 to go in the second period. Justin Cloutier was a big addition for the Soo Greyhounds, that by nothing other than him returning from his freshman season at Arizona State that had been, well, cut short by months and months when he was hospitalized with E. coli. What a boost he has been for this Greyhounds team as they try to ramp into form into the postseason. Cloutier over to the far side for Gillen. And that is sent forward and chipped in. James Paul will grab it for the Firebirds. 32nd game of the season for Paul, who's been in and out of the lineup for the Firebirds. The coaching staff really liking what they've seen out of Paul as of late. That is sent in, and it's icing against the Firebirds with 18:07 to go in the second period. Flint 2, Soo nothing. Mason Vicari getting set to watch this in front of him. He has received the start every time these teams have played this season. 177 goals against and a .930 save percentage for Vicari. In the season series against the Greyhounds, he's 4-0-0-1. Greyhounds control it off the face-off. Birds take it away. And now Brady Smith, who has one of the 2 Flint goals, shoved off the puck by Croskery. Firebirds to take it now along the right side, and it is knocked free where Croskery can skate it out the other way. Marco Mignosa nearly had his pocket picked. As they gain the zone now, Mignosa from a sharp angle couldn't get the shot off. Dryden Allen shadowing him all over the ice. Croskery's shot was blocked by Thibodeau. Here come the Birds the other way. Allen to Thibodeau. Chris Thibodeau, all kinds of speed down the right wing, couldn't quite get around him. And it's backhanded in by Lombardi. Now Croskery behind the net. 17:21 to go, period number 2. Martin gains the zone, right side, he'll bring it in. Martin, as he carries behind the net, the Firebirds are on it. Lombardi, back to Fellinger. And Jeremy Martin laid a hit. That puck is into the left wing corner. And brought it out along the near side. Lombardi, he'll gain the zone. Lombardi throws one off the end boards behind. Firebirds give chase with Thibodeau. And that's backhanded in front, picked off by Winkelhofer. 16:48 to go in the second period. 2-0 Firebirds as Jordan Sharon is in for the Sioux. Shoots, and a stick save by Vicari. As the Firebirds now with Luca Graziano. Graziano speeding through center ice. And they'll give it to Aspinall, and back to Morgan. Aspinall shoots high and wide. Oljanski into Morgan, right wing half wall. Bonnyman with a shot and a stick save by Miller. As that rockets out of play. 16:21 to go in the second period. Firebirds 2, Greyhounds nothing. Hounds come in having won back-to-back. Firebirds also with back-to-back wins, points in 3 in a row. Faceoff is controlled by the Greyhounds, who burst it through center. Now down the left wing, the Firebirds. James Paul back to he. On for Jacob Battaglia. And Battaglia motors through center ice. Battaglia with speed. No curl on the left wing side. Now to Kevin He. Padre Carr. As he dumps it behind the net, the Firebirds are after it. That is swept up ice by Laus, but the Firebirds with He. And it's Laus over the red line to dump the puck down. Firebirds go get it. Padre Carr once again. 15:40 remains in this second period. Cleared by Flint. Firebirds almost won the race for icing, but Kevin He couldn't quite get there in time with 15:36 to go in the second period. So as the Firebirds lead 2-0, they bring it down to the defensive zone. And set up in front of Mason Vicari. There's Jacob Battaglia to take the draw. opposite Brady Martin. Well, Battaglia was on with Brandon Caputo of the Armchair GM Sports Network. And the coverage in conjunction with the Friday Night Faceoff here in the OHL. And as Flint's poked it back into the neutral zone, the Soo's going to have to regroup. And he shared the story of when he found out he was traded from the Calgary Flames to the New York Rangers. And in they come with a shot saved by Vakari. Rebound chance stuffed. Vakari covers it. Well, it looked like that puck might have popped free as the whistle blew. Vakari won't complain. 15:20 to go in the second period. As Vakari gets set up, we'll watch that scoring chance once again. Travis Hayes on net. It was stopped by Vakari not once but twice, and there he is lunging after it. This is done by James Paul with Minyoza crashing the net. But that story that was told by Battaglia, now he found out when the team was on the bus heading to Sarnia. That was 1 week ago, road game last Friday. And yeah, Bates got the call when the Firebirds were on the bus. We were just short of the border, heading over to Sarnia, a little commuter trip for the Firebirds. And I got to tell you, and he shared this in that conversation with Brandon Caputo, but one of the most excited was Nate Aspinall that he might have another future teammate going into the pro ranks for the Rangers next season and beyond. Aspinall takes it away. Aspinall in, toe drag, shoots, and it's turned aside by Miller. Aspinall digs it off the wall. Out to Oljanski, throws one towards the front of the net. Lombardi trying to tip it along, and now it's Fisher. Can't quite get it out. Aspinall behind the net. Left wing corner, Lombardi. As that puck is dug off the wall, and here come the Greyhounds to work it up ice on the near side. Flipped into the neutral zone, Graziano for it. Oljanski off the stick of Aspinall, and the Firebirds to the right side. Graziano on for Thibodeau, who dumps the puck in. Chris Thibodeau still on it. They'll throw it in deep. Miller almost got caught in no man's land there. 14-14 second period. Firebirds on the forecheck with Tessier. Xavier Tessier strong on the puck. Gonna kick it back to his forehand. He picked up his 6th goal of the season. And the Firebirds come from behind, win 4-2 over Windsor in this building on Saturday last weekend. Dumped in by Sharon. There's James Paul. And for the Birds, it's now Smith. Through center to Pazzi. Backhands one in. Tessier after it. The chant is "Let's go Firebirds" here at the Dort Financial Center. Puck is swept to the near side of the Birds now. Hack it up ice. Tessier gains the zone. Tessier in the right wing corner. Tessier lost the puck, and now it will be Tobias Walensky to bring it out the other way. The Slovakia native. As that is dumped in deep, and there's going to be a penalty, it looks like, coming against the Hounds. As James Paul took a check around center ice and his helmet came loose. And that appears to be what has been caught as a penalty going against the Sioux with 13-16 to go in the second period. Some stuff for the officials to sort out, but the Firebirds to the LJ Inc. power play when we come back. 2-0 Flint, 13-16 to go in the second on the Firebirds Hockey Network. Well, the Firebirds lead by a score of 2-0 with 13-16 to go in the second period. And yeah, Brady Smith popping at James Paul, the cross-check that knocked the bucket off away from the play. And for that, he will sit for 2 minutes. Firebirds 1-for-1 on the LJ Inc. power play today. Boy, they would dearly love to extend that lead, as with another power play tally as the Greyhounds do win the D-zone face-off. 2 for roughing is the call on Greyhounds Brady Smith, as the Firebirds behind the net now in the attacking zone. Aspinall near wing wall. And there's Lombardi in the corner. Jimmy Lombardi surveys, finds Aspinall. Aspinall to Graziano. Now he, there for Anderson, back to Kevin He. Darian Anderson waits, gives it to He. Graziano shoots one wide of the net as it's picked up by He. He'll go behind on to Anderson. Stuff attempt saved by Miller. 12:31 to go in the second period. It's Flint 2, Soo nothing with 1:15 on the power play. And there is Darian Anderson going to the net. He looked like he was trying to just shove that 5-hole. Miller did track it. Landon Miller seeing the Firebirds for the 4th time this season. 3 regulation losses. The goals against is .313, not bad. Save percentage is .822. Definitely some room for improvement there, as the Firebirds have put 2 on him so far in this game on 11 shots. Greyhounds had their clearing attempt blocked, and now it's Fisher to successfully get it up ice. Travis Hayes shorthanded for Brown, blocked by Oljanski. And here comes Jacob Battaglia, 3-on-2 for the Birds as they gain it. Pass a little bit beyond the reach of Thibodeau. Now Battaglia for Padrekar. Found Battaglia again. Jacob Battaglia with some space. 1 assist already for him today. Battaglia for Padrekar. Looks right side Battaglia. Outside the circle, found Padrekar. Snaps it across, tic-tac-toe. Oh, what a save by Miller. Rebound chance, Smith couldn't put it home. Landon Miller with a huge stop, point blank on Brady Smith. Brady Smith that close to his 2nd goal against his former team here. And Landon Miller with a massive save, not once but twice on Smith on the doorstep. Here's Kevin He, right side Graziano. And he coughs it up, and now Cloutier. Down the left wing, Justin Cloutier. Poke check by Oljanski. And the Firebirds will push it out the other way. Graziano. As Smith steps onto the ice. The Greyhounds have killed it off, and the Firebirds go to 1 for 2. Thanks in large part due to those couple of big saves by Landon Miller on Brady Smith. That puck is worked over to the far side. And now the Greyhounds. Forward with Winkelhofer. He'll dump it in. Firebirds run it down for icing with 10:49 to go in the second period. So it's 2-0, and it's 2-0 because of this. What a stop on the gorgeous passing by the Firebirds, not once, but twice. And a 3rd time. Miller with the left pad, with the glove and the stick. Just absurd out of Landon Miller as he robs Brady Smith 3 times on the doorstep. Firebirds take the puck back away in the attacking zone, and they'll send one behind the net on to Xavier Tessier. And the Birds will try and sweep it out to the blue line, but here come the Greyhounds. We'll see if that is a turning point for the Sioux in this game. It can be a bit of a momentum shifter when a goaltender just robs a sure goal. The Firebirds will try and keep the Greyhounds away from Mason Vicari as they've worked it into the attacking zone. Martin on the near wing boards. Out for a long shot, a pad save by Vicari. And now Minyosa behind the net. Martin curls on the right wing side. Brady Martin, the Sioux captain, launches one wide of the net. And he's back on it, though, on the attacking end. Pazzi got in his way. Firebirds with Tessier. Minyosa shouldered him away. Now Martin going to the net. Good poke check by Padrekar. High off the glass, and the Birds give chase with Charlie Murata. And instead it is grabbed by Keegan Gillen of the Greyhounds. 9:39 to play in the second. Martin is in. Stepping for a shot and a save by Vicari. And now loose behind the net once again, Minyosa. The throw one in front, poked aside by Vicari. Blue line Fisher cranks one that's blocked. And the Firebirds the other way, Chris Thibodeau. He'll wait and just sail into the neutral zone. Now Fisher, though, sends it right back in towards Vicari, who's going to cover and hang on with 9 minutes and 13 seconds to go in the second period. Birds 2, Hounds nothing. And the Greyhounds getting another chance by way of Brady Martin, who's charging to the net himself there. Sticks going flying, tried to go a 5-hole, but no problem for Mason Vicari. 9:13 to go in the second period. Hounds win the draw, and Fisher put one wide of the net. Now behind the net, it is Jordan Sharon. He spins and shoots, and a pad save by Vakari. Now it's Valinsky on the near wing boards. Tangled as Smith tries to come up and take it away. Luca Graziano in the mix, Jacob Battaglia to support. And Daryl Zoljanski, the Anaheim prospect, sails it up through center ice. Skipped away from Anderson, back to get it is Pankredich. As that pass comes through center and rolled back in, Justin Cloutier on the chase into the right wing corner. Firebirds sweep one away along the left wing now. That's Battaglia. They send one backwards, and the Birds on it for a moment, but there Kevin He does smack into the neutral zone. Puck is taken along by Cloutier to gain it. Cloutier in, left side Brown in front for a chance for Andrew. Stopped by Vakari. Mason Vakari keeps him away. Now another shot, Vakari made the save. Can't cover, cleared but not out. Left wing side now, Cloutier. On the wall, Cloutier. Stripped by Battaglia. Here come the Birds. Battaglia's got a posse down the right wing. Waits, backsides. What a stop by Miller again on He. And he covers and hangs on once more. Kevin He might have hit the post first, but the Firebirds that close to extending the lead, and Miller keeps him out again. Jacob Battaglia throws on the brakes, waits to find He, and yeah, Kevin He did hit the post there. Miller was able to jump on it right away. As Jacob Battaglia, a touch frustrated as he steps off. He and Kevin He so close to making it 3-1 Flint. Landon Miller starting to lock in here in the second period. Greyhounds win the face-off, and they cycle it to the right side. The Firebirds are on it. Murata throwing towards the front, and out come the Greyhounds instead to work it in. The Firebirds sweep it away with Vakari. Greyhounds have the edge in shots on goal, 19-15. 19 saves by Vakari. And here are the Hounds on the near wing side. McKenzie had it poked away by Morgan. And Quinn McKenzie is back to get it. Up ice towards Jeremy Martin. Firebirds with Podrekar instead. Urban Podrekar for James Paul. Now Jimmy Lombardi. He got run into by Martin. And he did dump it in successfully. The Greyhounds do pick it up. To the right side it goes. Firebirds on with Allen. Up ice for Aspinall to chase, and that puck over to the far wing side. It is fed through center ice onto Laus. Noah Laus gains the zone. And Flint into the neutral zone for Lombardi. Along to Aspinall. Couldn't quite step in with it. Greyhounds took it away. 6:34 to go in the second period. Lombardi laid a hit, and that puck still in the attacking end for the Hounds. Croskery with open ice. Shoots through traffic. It was blocked. Second chance from Mignosa is wide. Now Martin for Fisher. Shot stopped by Vakari. And Mason Vakari's 20th save leads to a cover and a post whistle scrum. And it's popping off a little bit here with Fellinger and Travis Hayes. With Aspinall and Croskery. No gloves being dropped. Travis Hayes is looking incredulously at one of our referees. Looks like he's going to the penalty box. He just said, for what? What did I do? Genuine shock on the face of Travis Hayes. Continuing to ask for what? As Hayes is going to the box. And Flint's going to the power play. Now post whistle here as Vakari covered. So the for what is, looks like kind of just chasing after Rylan Fellinger, who had gotten mixed up at the start of all of that. And it does appear that Travis Hayes is the lone Greyhound or Firebird going to the box after that post whistle activity. So the Firebirds will get their third LJ Inc. power play of the game. They lead 2-0. They're 1 for 2 with a power play so far. 6:17 to play in the second period. And Chris Thibodeau does win the faceoff. Out for Oljanski, now Thibodeau. Sending it behind the net. Roughing, by the way, the official call on Hayes. His answer to for what? Podrekar in front to Thibodeau. Knocked down, and it's cleared away by the Greyhounds. Now, I'm sure Greyhounds fans and supporters watching from afar, wondering why no Firebirds were taken along with Travis Hayes for all the post-whistle activity. Officials appeared to deem that it was Hayes at the center of all of it. The Firebirds won't complain about that. Flint yet to be shorthanded today. This is their third power play of the game. 1 minute and 16 seconds remains on it with 5:31 in the second period. Brought along to Battaglia as that goes left wing corner onto Thibodeau. Blue line Graziano. Thibodeau in the corner. Graziano couldn't handle it at the point. The Firebirds are going to have to reload in the neutral zone. Here comes Luca Graziano down the right side. Hands it back to He. Kevin He into the attacking zone. His shot was blocked. Along the right wing once again. Flint for Aspinall. Nathan Aspinall works it in. Aspinall in the right wing corner to the blue line for Lombardi. Now Graziano. Kevin He on the left wing half wall. Found Anderson back to Graziano. Aspinall even with the goal line. Right wing circle now. Aspinall moving the puck. Lombardi puts a move on. Lombardi didn't get it off clean. He was trying to shake Miller, who tracked him. 9 seconds to go on the power play. 4:23 in the second period as Aspinall gets it to He. Kevin He is in. He goes into the right wing corner as that power play has expired. Chance in front. Lombardi to hack at it. Poking it still loose. And here come the Greyhounds the other way. Along the right side, moseying forward is Brady Martin. Left wing, Cloutier. Cloutier to bring it in. And as they send that puck in, right wing corner, the Firebirds get there. Cleared out by Lombardi. And Croskery will go back to take it in the defensive zone with 3:47 to go in the second period. Still 2-0 Firebirds. On for Ignat Pazzi. Pazzi sails one in. It bounced away from the stick of Landon Miller. And on the near side, it's Cloutier, far wing Pankredich. That pass sent forward, and the Firebirds do jump on it with Pazzi. Ignat Pazzi behind the net. Allen, far wing now. Sharon out for a long shot that goes wide of the net. Now Croskery. Behind the net for Allen to take it. Dryden Allen for the Firebirds. As here come the Birds on the near wing side. Fellinger. Left wing Allen right back on the tape of Ryland Fellinger. Murata dumped it in. Here's Ignat Pazzi. Pazzi throws one in front to Murata, who got clipped there by Pankredich. And the Greyhounds the other way with Sharon. Drop pass Brown. Christopher Brown on the left wing corner. Podrekar watching him with 2:42 to go in the second period. Evans shoots one. And a save made by Vakari. Firebirds clear it, blue line Evans. Left side Sharon. Long shot, pad save Vakari. And Mason Vakari will cover. And melt it for the whistle. Still 2-0. Still the Birds on top with 2.5 minutes to play in the second period. We'll step aside and we'll return after this on FHN.
Flint Firebirds hockey is even better with a group. The Firebirds offer discounted tickets for groups of 10 or more people for any of our home games. Perfect for entertaining clients, celebrating a special occasion, or just having a fun night out with family, friends, or coworkers. We have the easy and affordable plan for you. Plus, the bigger the group, the bigger the discount. For more information, visit flintfirebirds.com or contact the Dort Financial Center box office to book your group outing today.
Firebirds still in the driver's seat, 2-0 Flint with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the second period. As the Birds bench still making their way over back onto the ice. Paul Flash behind that bench earned his 100th OHL win last time his team was on the ice. A 4-2 victory over the Windsor Spitfires. And now the Birds will set up in front of Mason Vicari. He's faced 20, he has stopped all of them. There's a big crowd watching on here in the Vehicle City. Only one home game remains in the regular season after tonight. It's a week from tomorrow against the London Knights. Face-off control by the Hounds. Travis Hayes spins and throws one that floats high and out of play. 2:23 now to go in the second period. Zach McConzick will catch up with Chris Thibodeau. The second intermission. Get Thibodeau's thoughts on this 2-0 Firebirds lead. Remember, a win today for the Firebirds would match the most wins in franchise history at 42. Any point today would set a new high water mark for points in a single season. Flint has already matched its previous record of 89. And you throw into the near side of the Firebirds on it. This is the 10th season on the ice for the Firebirds in franchise history. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic did keep one season from happening in the 11 years. It's brought in by Lombardi. One-time chance and a kick saved by Miller. Into the right wing corner. On for Aspinall. Finds Al in with a shot and a blocker save made. Still Lombardi behind the net. Aspinall for it. Left wing wall, Jimmy Lombardi. Looking down low to Aspinall. Aspinall's goal today has extended his point streak to 9 games. Now, Firebirds have only had 3-point streaks of 10 or more this season. Aspinall does have one of them. Backhanded chance from Martin. Stopped by Vicari. And that puck is rolled into the neutral zone. Aspinall to chase after with Pankredich as they get worked into the corner, and it's fed along the near side. Battaglia backhands one forward, and Flint's going to have to regroup for it with Oljanski. Aspinall back in from November to mid-December at a 13-game point streak. The longest of the season for the Firebirds is Alex Kostov with 18. And Aspinall, again, he has extended it to 9 already with his goal today. As the Birds with Oljanski on to Battaglia. Jacob Battaglia is in. Looking forward to Thibodeau. Couldn't get it to him, and that puck back into the neutral zone. Firebirds feed one forward. Greyhounds out the other way. Near side, Graziano. He'll throw one in left wing corner as it bounces off the end boards. Now Croskery on for Martin. It is slid through center, and Flint wins the race for icing with 24 seconds to play in the second period. So as the Firebirds set up for an attacking zone face-off. Now Flint has had its chances in this period, as has the Greyhounds. Now 14 shots for Soo, 10 for Flint in this second period. Mason Vicari, Landon Miller, both affording themselves quite well. That is dumped in left wing corner, and puck loose behind the net. As it is played along the right side, onto Jeremy Martin. Flipped up through center, Firebirds go to get it, as that'll be blown dead for a hand pass with 6.8 now to go in this second period. And once again, getting a little unfriendly post whistle. This time Croskery and Anderson. And Pankredich just gave Anderson a shove in the back as he was skating by him. Darian Anderson, something get under the skin of the Soo Greyhounds. It's that time of year when the temperatures start to get a little hot under the collar late in these games. Game number 64 for both of these teams today. dumped in by the Greyhounds, and the Firebirds go back to take it as the horn blows, and it got physical with all kinds of activity as that horn went off, and pretty much everybody on the ice as our cameras are being cut off by the standing fans, but everyone's got a dance partner. Most are kind of away from the action, but it's still starting to pop off a little bit there. Spencer Evans having to be guided away from Jimmy Lombardi. Now both are being sent down their respective tunnels. Fans absolutely loving the post-whistle physicality. That'll get this place to full throat. And it will be interesting to see if anything extra comes of that. Well, Jimmy Lombardi looks like bleeding from the nose. And the referees with some work to do as the Firebirds are starting to go down the tunnel. Paul Flash with his foot up on the bench. And he's barking a little bit over at those officials and seemingly wanting an explanation as to what exactly is going to be called. Marco Mignosa and Nate Aspinall are both standing next to a referee. They're waiting for an explanation, and seems like some things still yet to be sorted out. As the Firebirds and the Greyhounds, it's 2-0. Flint with the lead after 2 periods of play. Flint's captain Aspinall talking to his head coach, relaying some information. And as most of the players have left the ice, the straggling few are starting to make their way down. We'll welcome you back inside our broadcast booth. I'm Brian Gardner. Plenty to sort out there as we'll figure out exactly what is going on in terms of penalties from that post-horn altercation. Well, the Birds lead by a score of 2-0. Zach McConzick will catch up with Chris Thibodeau. Well, just about now. Tibbs must have been one of the first down the tunnel, so let's go downstairs and catch up with Zach and Chris Thibodeau.
Thanks, Brian. Chris, this is a pivotal game in seeding-wise for playoffs. What is the message in the locker room going into this one?
Just no games off. I mean, realistically, coming on the stretch, they mean more, but, I mean, every game's been the same all year. So just trying to stick to what we're good at and, hopefully get the result.
Absolutely. You got 2 assists in this one. How have you been so successful in getting your teammates involved?
It's really easy with the guys you get to play with. But, I mean, if you're able to make one player beat one guy and get it to these guys, it's usually going in.
Physical going into this third period. What do you guys got to do to close this one out and secure the win?
Just not feed into it. They're going to try and get chippy and make us take penalties, but, we just keep our heads on. This is our game.
For sure. Thanks for the time. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Tibbs. Chris Thibodeau and the Firebirds. Yeah, it definitely starting to get chippy. Love that insight on that last question that they're going to try and make the Firebirds take penalties, thinks Chris Thibodeau. And got to just stay away from it and stay out of the box, limit those chances. Of course, when Mason Vicari has been playing this well, when the Birds have finished some chances. On the other end, though, Landon Miller is keeping the Soo Greyhounds in this game with multiple highlight reel saves in that second period to make sure it is no worse than 2-0 for the Soo Greyhounds, the same deficit they had after the end of the first period. So the Firebirds, again, lead by a score of 2-0. Oh, so close to making it 3-0. Brady Smith not once, not twice, but 3 times stopped by Landon Miller from his belly, keeping Smith off the board. It's still 2-0, thanks in large part to that. Kyle Keegan will take you through the highlights and more when we come back on the Firebirds Hockey Network.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Dort Financial Credit Union. Don't let your checking account just sit there. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. For whatever you're thinking, dreaming, or doing, Boost Checking from Dort Financial. Fulfilling dreams, supporting community for over 70 years. Official credit union of the Flint Firebirds.
Pirani's Hockey World, dominating the game since 1976. From rookies to pros, we've got the gear to give you the edge. Bauer, CCM, Warrior, True. Every brand you trust. Every level of play. Sticks, skates, training gear. You name it, we've got it. Stay at the top of your game with Bauer Pro Sharp Advantage skate sharpening. Precision so sharp, it's like skating on air. Plus, join our free loyalty program and score points on every dollar spent. Don't settle. Gear up where the competition shops. Pirani's Hockey World, the toy store for the hockey player. Find your nearest location today.
March is here, and that means one thing: basketball's biggest month of the year. But at Shea Chevrolet, we're bringing our own kind of madness. It's Match Madness, and we're matching your down payment dollar for dollar up to $500.
Match up to $500.
That's right. You put down $500 and we'll match it. That means more savings, more flexibility, and more Chevrolet in your driveway. Drive home in the Chevy you've been dreaming about with less out of pocket. But don't wait. This Match Madness event ends March 15th. Come play Match Madness at Shea Chevrolet. Just saying.
Welcome back to the Dort. 40 minutes down, 20 minutes to go, and it's the same score after the first period that it is after the second. 2-0 Firebirds, but that doesn't mean it wasn't an eventful second period. Kyle Keegan back here with you as we get ready to look through the highlights of the first two periods of this one. Let's get right into it here. The first period, it was all Flint getting all over the board. Bryson Morgan finding Nathan Aspinall. The captain pots it over the blocker of Landon Miller. It's a nice cross-ice pass, cross-ice shot, caught the goalie swaying over, and he gets his 31st goal of the season. And then on the power play, it's Brady Smith getting number 9. Look at this misplay from Miller. Battaglia capitalizes on it, and it's putting it home with the rebound, Brady Smith. So 2-0 Firebirds after 20 minutes. Heading into the second period of action, it was all goaltending. Mason Vicari making a couple of stops here on that first line. Travis Hayes saying no to him. Brady Martin saying no to him. Here's Darian Anderson getting robbed in front by Landon Miller on the power play earlier in the second period. Podrekar, tic-tac-toe, Thibodeau, Smith, another stop. He can't find his second goal of the game, and then look at the rebound attempt. That one's blocked by, I don't know if it's the glove, I don't know if it's the stick, but that wasn't even the best one he made. That one's off the post. Kevin He and Darian Anderson can't put it home. That's all positioning right there for Miller. But don't forget about Mason Vicari, who's a perfect 23 for 23 thus far in stops. As you see all the chaos going on around him, he is on phase. Perfect outing so far as Mason Vicari, 20 minutes away. I don't want to jinx it, but 20 minutes away from his 5th shutout of the season as I welcome back in Zach McConzick. Zach, second period of action that, as I said, had no goals, but certainly felt like a lot happened.
It really did. There was so much going on. I mean, goalies playing at the top of their game, kind of each making diving, sliding saves, whatever you want to call it, and then it's getting really chippy and physical. You saw it at the end of that period. The buzzer sounded, and we had almost what felt like a 2-minute long fight before even kind of the ref stepped in to kind of separate them.
Yeah, you know, seeing a scuffle like that, some penalties at the end of the period, not quite sure how that's going to get drawn out, but we'll see, you know, if there are any power plays or anything like that going into the second period. But first thing I wanted to talk about, obviously, the goaltending. We'll start with Landon Miller, a guy who, you know, looked a little shaky in the first period, made a couple of mistakes, but probably the best performance we've seen from any goaltender in any period all year so far right there.
Oh, he's been absolutely unreal in that second period. There were multiple scoring chances that Flint had to bury the puck and extend this lead, whether that's him making a pad save well on the ground, reading pucks through screens, but he's a large part of this reason why it's still only a 2-goal lead for Flint.
You flip it over to the Firebird side, Mason Vicari, you know, this is a game where maybe the Birds feel like they could be up 3-4-0 with the chances they've had, but could also really be 2-2 or them trailing 3-2, but Mason Vicari putting together one of his best performances of the season.
I was going to say that same thing. It could be flipped up the other way. Soo has 23 shots and Vicari saved them all. I know you said you don't want to jinx it, but I was having the same thoughts as you, so let's hope there's no kind of reporter jinx on this one.
And fingers crossed on that one. Something we did jinx was talking about how the Firebirds power play looked really good in that first period, getting a goal from that second unit in Brady Smith. They had 2 more chances to capitalize in that second frame, but right back to 0 for 2. Obviously, you don't want to see those chances come back to bite them in the end.
No, not at all. And Soo really kind of flipped the script on this game. They let up that first power play goal and then had 2 penalty kills, killed them both off, looked like a very competent team in that second period. They're playing well, but it's going to be interesting to see how this third period starts, what the refs have kind of called after that last scuffle, and who's going to be able to work the power play and work the penalty kill.
Yeah, speaking of that scuffle, it seemed like the physicality, the tenacity, just the angst kind of stepped up a lot in that second period, and it really came to a head right before the intermission with, you know, like you described, those extracurriculars down there by the boards. So, you know, I'd expect to see that continue on throughout the rest of the game. What do the Birds have to do to kind of play to that style and hold on to this lead throughout that gritty style of hockey?
It's like Chris said in that interview, they're going to come for you. They're going to try to kind of poke and prod and get under your skin, but you know the game that you got to play, and they're playing their own game, and that's the reason they're up 2-0. So I think Flint kind of sticks with the recipe that they have. They had ample scoring chances. Landon Miller just making some incredible saves, so I think they stick to what they're doing, and I think it'll be a good result for them in the end.
All right, quick one for you before we go. One prediction for the third period. Let's hear it.
Third period, I think 1 goal from each team. I think we're going to get a final of 3-1 here. I think as well as each goalie's played, they're gonna let one pass, but we'll see what happens.
Hey, I don't hate the prediction. I'm going to go 3-0 Flint. Mason Vicari picks up his 5th shutout. Because I kind of already delivered the jinx by bringing it up that he hasn't allowed the goal through the first 40 minutes, I'm going to follow through on it and just make the prediction. So we'll see what happens. We'll send it back over to Brian for the rest of the intermission report. That's going to be all for me. We'll hear more from Zach after the game. Don't go anywhere. 2-0 Firebirds at the second intermission. You're watching OHL Hockey on FHN. Life.
For nearly a century, Goyette Mechanical has been a Flint and Mid-Michigan's business partner. Goyette is a Flint-based family-owned business. We were born and raised here. We went to school here. We live here and play here, employing hundreds of Michigan residents. Goyette Mechanical, a committed Michigan company providing the best in plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical sales and service, and 100% satisfaction guaranteed. A big reason why you gotta get Goyette.
Gotta get Goyette!
It's the Firebirds, the 2-0 lead over the Soo Greyhounds after 2 periods of play. The Birds were up 2-0 after 1, continues to be 2-0 after 2. Thanks in large part due to the work of Landon Miller in the Soo net and also Mason Vicari in the Flint net. I'm Brian Gardner, glad to have you with us. Let's look what else is going on around the Ontario Hockey League. It's 3-0 Ottawa. They lead the Brampton Steelheads after 2 periods of play. Goals from Thomas Vandenberg, Philip Ekberg, and Nick Sema for the 67s. Brampton is close to being eliminated from playoff contention in 9th in the East. Ottawa still trying to run down Brantford. Currently sits in 3rd place in the Eastern Conference. The Kingston Frontenacs and the Erie Otters are all square. 2-2 is the score after 2 periods of play. It's Malik McCowan and Tomasz Pobejal, goal scorers for Kingston. Ulysses Lombardi and Julius Sari for the Otters. Kingston sitting in 6th place in the East. Erie brings up the rear in 10th in the West. Owen Sound 2 and Kitchener 2. That's good news for Firebirds fans, as the Birds hoping they can run down those Kitchener Rangers. That's after 2 periods of play. It was 2-1 Rangers after 1. Mason Ray, though, with his 10th of the season, evens the score at 2 for Owen Sound with a goal in the second period. Now, as it stands right now, it would be Flint and Owen Sound in the 2-7 matchup in the Western Conference in the first round if the standings hold for the rest of the regular season. That is unlikely, though. Owen Sound only 2 points up on Saginaw, only 2 points back of Guelph in 6th. And Kitchener, again, leads Flint by 5 points for first place in the Western Conference. London 3, Guelph 2. London got out to a 3-0 lead in the first period of that one, but since then, a couple of goals for the Storm, including Ethan Miedema with the only goal scored in that second period that brings the Storm within one. They're at the second intermission there. London in fifth in the Western Conference with 79 points. Guelph is in sixth with 59. Guelph a possible first-round playoff opponent for the Firebirds. And the Windsor Spitfires lead the Sarnia Sting 3-1. And late in the second period in Sarnia, they've extended what was a 2-1 lead after one period of play with a Wyatt Kennedy goal in the second. Windsor just 1 point back of Flint in third place in the Western Conference. Sarnia could be eliminated from playoff contention today as they're in ninth with 45 points, 10 back of the Saginaw Spirits. Coming up for the Firebirds, it is the Birds on the road in Saginaw tomorrow as Flint will take on those Saginaw Spirit, finishing up the Coors Light Ice 75 Divide Cup. It's a 7:05 scheduled puck drop for the Birds and the Spirit. We've got radio coverage for you on US 103.1 FM. Firebirds will then make an early week road trip to Kitchener to take on the Rangers on Tuesday, and then in Owen Sound to see the Attack on Wednesday. Both those puck drops at 7 o'clock. Radio coverage available 15 minutes prior for both. Then the Firebirds after that back home for their final home game of the regular season and their final game overall the regular season against the London Knights. It is a 7 o'clock puck drop a week from tomorrow. It's sponsored by Dover Doors, and the first 2,000 fans in attendance will get a free pair of Thundersticks courtesy of Dover Doors. Here today, the Firebirds with a 2-0 lead over the Soo Greyhounds, cleaning up some things post-whistle, post-horn at the end of that second period. There were some penalties handed out, 3 to the Greyhounds, 1 to the Firebirds. Justin Cloutier and Spencer Evans both got roughing. There was a 10-minute misconduct for abuse of official that went to Brady Martin. Jimmy Lombardi got roughing for the Firebirds. So we'll talk about what that all means when we come back for the third period. It's 2-0 Flint after 2. Third period puck drop coming up after this on the Firebirds Hockey Network.
Did you know Shea buys cars? The Shea Megalot can save you time and money no matter the situation.
Are service bills adding up?
We'll buy your car.
Don't just turn your lease in.
We'll buy your car.
¿Tu pago está muy alto?
Nosotros compramos tu carro.
Credit cards adding up?
We'll still buy your car.
Tired of Marketplace?
We'll buy your car.
Behind on your payments?
We'll buy your car. Over on your miles? We'll still buy your car. Shea Megalot can trade your car for cash, online or in store. Get more for your trade at SheaBuysCars.com. Just saying.
Even your home is sick of its old windows. Time to kick those old, drafty panes to the curb and upgrade to the energy-efficient Michigan window. For 1 week only, save 60% off installation or no interest for 72 months on all new custom vinyl window projects. All on top of our already unbeatable factory direct prices. D&W, trusted home improvements built over 3 generations.
Wow, I can't believe we're in here. Does Justin know you're doing this?
Look at this beauty. He inducted himself.
You can do that?
Of course you can't do that.
Smells like a teenager.
I'm sorry, but I don't speak French. But that's not the reason I cheer for the Leafs.
Firebirds 2, Greyhounds nothing. They're back on the ice for the third period. Should have a good final 20 minutes on our hands as the Birds and the Hounds getting back to it here with some players having headed over to the penalty box. Jacob Battaglia watching as the Greyhounds, Brady Martin actually just stepped in the box himself. Now, he got a 10-minute misconduct for abuse of official at the tail end of that period there. And there were roughings handed out for Spencer Evans and Justin Cloutier. That is a busy Soo Greyhounds penalty box. Firebirds' Jimmy Lombardi went to the box as well. Flint, as a result, gets a 2-minute LJ Inc. power play. And as the puck is down, it's controlled by the Firebirds. We're underway for the third and final period here this evening in Flint. Brought out now by the Greyhounds, shorthanded. They find Mignosa. In his 300th OHL game, Marco Mignosa carries into the left wing corner. And the Birds counter instead. Battaglia couldn't receive it clean. And the Greyhounds with Winkelhofer. As they feed it over to the far side, that is going to be blown dead with 19:30 on the third period clock. Flint 2, Soo nothing. A minute and 30 seconds remain on this LJ Inc. power play for the Firebirds. It's their 4th power play of the game. They are 1 for 3 so far. Now again, the penalties. Justin Cloutier for roughing, Spencer Evans for roughing, Jimmy Lombardi for roughing, and the 10-minute misconduct on Brady Martin for abuse of official. Down to the right side, the Firebirds now with Battaglia, blue line Graziano, left wing he, back to Graziano, and that is Aspinall for Graziano, left wing he to Anderson, right there for he, along to Aspinall. Aspinall to Graziano. Try to get it back to Aspinall. He does. 58 seconds on the power play. Down low, Battaglia. It is swept over to the right wing corner. And now Hayes does pop it right behind the net. Puck is sent to the near side. Kevin Graziano. Right wing Battaglia shoots the puck, and it's stopped by Miller. 18:40 to play in the third period. 2-0 Firebirds lead the Greyhounds. The Birds just set up in the attacking zone on this power play, but Landon Miller has been strong today. 17 saves now on 19 shots as he stops another one. And the puck down, it's controlled by the Sioux, who clears it successfully. Tried to stop that above the goal line, has to play it off the boards. And now there's Jancy bring out. Right down the power play, 25 seconds remain. And left corner, right side to 2 assists already for Chris Thibodeau. To the right side now, Pazzi. Oljanski for Padrekar. Down to Thibodeau, left wing corner. Thibodeau shoots one and a stop by Miller. 18:08 to play now in the third. Firebirds have 8 seconds remaining on their power play chance, and it is 2-0 Flint. The Birds sending a non-power play unit out there with 8 seconds left on the man advantage. And Brady Smith communicating with his Soo Greyhounds line mates as they try and win that D-zone draw. Firebirds kept it in the attacking end. And now, though, a hand has gone in the air and another penalty has been called against the Greyhounds. It's cross-checking. It'll go against Lucas Fisher. And the march to the box continues for the Hounds. It'll be a 5-on-3 power play for 3 seconds. And then we'll continue at 5-on-4. As Fisher, you got Thibodeau right around the name bar on the back of his jersey. And for that, he earns 2 minutes in the sin bin. That is a busy penalty box for the Greyhounds. And some long faces as the Firebirds win the draw, but Battaglia trying to find Graziano, sent it into the neutral zone. Cloutier free from the penalty box. So now it's 5-on-4 once again. 5th power play chance officially for the Firebirds. They work it in left wing corner. Kevin rimmed it along the far side. Now both Evans and Lombardi will be freed at the next stoppage of play for the Greyhounds and the Firebirds respectively. It's Graziano with the blue line. Left wing down to Anderson. Slides it along to Aspinall. And Nathan Aspinall found Darian Anderson. It is stripped away and cleared away But the Greyhounds down to the Birds' end. 17 minutes and 17 seconds to play in the third. 1:12 to go on the Flint power play. He knifes into the attacking zone, right side Anderson. Back to Aspinall. Now Graziano, taken away though by the Greyhounds. Jeremy Martin sprinting after it. Vicari got there first. And oh, that was almost dangerous for Flint. Jeremy Martin speeding down. Vicari swept it away, and even the clearing attempt wasn't perfect, but the Firebirds still with it. 41 seconds to go on the power play. Battaglia down low, tried to touch it back to Brady Smith. And it's covered by Miller, and post whistle, Pankredich is going after Battaglia, who's getting involved as well. The linesman to break it up with 16:36 to go in the third period. Now Harris Pankredich and Jacob Battaglia, looks like both are being ushered over to the box. There's Pankredich. Yep, and Battaglia both in, but out come Evans and Lombardi. Well, we'll see if we can see what led to that. So Croskery and Battaglia first, and then it was Pankredich going for Battaglia. Now Battaglia kind of looked to be defending himself a bit, but with all the post-whistle activity, and you never really know what sparks it. Our cameras might not have caught the initial, so I don't want to editorialize here, but both Battaglia and Pankredich to the box for 2 minutes. Still 33 seconds remain on the Flint power play, and the faceoff will come back into neutral ice. Greyhounds win the draw, and they send it down into the Firebirds' end. It's Padre Carr. On to the right wing side for Thibodeau. That puck is swept over to the near wing where Daryl's Oljanski picks it up. Oljanski. He cuts his way up ice. Now Lombardi. Jimmy Lombardi to buzz in. Nice move. Lombardi shoots it. And a shrug save by Miller. Puck along to Oljanski, right wing Thibodeau. Power play will expire now. So it's 5-on-5 hockey once more as Lucas Fisher sprints onto the ice. A clear all the way down towards Vicari's net. He does stop it. And the Birds are going to reload in the defensive zone. The calls, by the way, on Pankredich and Battaglia each get 2 for roughing. Charlie Murata, the Flint rookie, carries it in, but Keegan Gillen is there first. Now Jordan Sharon. Along the left wing side, over the red line, he dumps it in. And that puck now is tracked by the Greyhounds, and the Firebirds clear it again. All the way to the other end, Ignat Pazzi sprinting down to win the race, so there was no icing. Pazzi still on it in the attacking zone. Ignat Pazzi trying to force one towards the front of the net. And to the far side, it's Croskery. What a feed into the neutral zone. Firebirds with Fellinger. Now to Tessier. And it's Pazzi still chasing, but Keegan Gillen gets it first for the Greyhounds. Gillen's from not far, just under an hour south. He was born in Royal Oak, Michigan. Brought in now towards Lombardi, and it's taken away by Minyosa. We bring it in with the attack. Minyosa with a shot of the save by Vicari. As that puck popped behind the net, got it to the near side. Hayes will send one across. Thibodeau blocked it. Hayes with another shot, and the save again by Mason Vicari. And Flint does lift into the neutral zone. Aspinall for Lombardi. Jimmy Lombardi on the near side. Tried to find Thibodeau, but Fisher took it away for the Greyhounds. Look to McKenzie, picked off by Lombardi. Birds gain the zone. Lombardi looking to throw it in front as a "Let's go Firebirds" chant echoes around the door. It's Graziano. Left side on to Aspinall, now Oljanski. Daryl's Oljanski lobs it in right wing corner. That puck is still loose in the right wing corner after a check from Aspinall on Evans, but here come the Greyhounds to work it along the right side. That is dumped in deep. Firebirds to get to it. Puck to the near side, Jamie Lombardi. Right wing in for Anderson, toe drag, and he lost the handle on the puck. Anderson dishing out some punishment on Evans, who was loading up a check. Firebirds intercept at center ice. 13:35 to go in the third. Next stoppage of play will bring us to immediate timeout. Evans on the far wing. He plays it high off the glass, and it will be fed back in for the Greyhounds to shoot one short side. Hit off the outside of the post. Mason Vicari was hugging the post there. And the Hounds have it once more in the attacking zone. Brown shoots one in a glove, saved by Vicari. Mason Vicari snatches and hangs on, and again after the whistle, this time it's Anderson and Croskery getting mixed up. And it looks like some more penalties might be doled out. We'll see what happens with that with 13:09 to play in the third period. Flint 2, Soo nothing. This is the Firebirds Hockey Network. Firebirds 2, Greyhounds nothing. We'll see what led to the post-whistle interaction. Kevin He not loving Callum Croskery in the mix there, and then it was James Paul, Darian Anderson, and it looks like James Paul is the one who is going to get a couple of minutes to think about that. He is the lone skater grabbed from that post-whistle altercation. So the Firebirds, for the first time today, will be shorthanded as the Greyhounds win the attacking zone face-off, get to work on the power play. The shot was kicked aside by Vicari, and the Birds successfully clear the zone. Aspinall to motor after it. First, though, is Quinn McKenzie. 2 for roughing on James Paul is the call. McKenzie is in. On to Minyosa. Right wing corner behind the net now. It's Jeremy Martin for Lucas Fisher. Fisher to Minyosa, top of the right circle. Now Fisher. On the right side again, it's Winkelhofer. Fisher threads the needle. Left side, Minyosa. Winkelhofer. Fisher with a shot. It's blocked by Podrekar. Birds can't clear it. Sent behind the net. Over to the far wing side. And that puck now popped it out towards the blue line. Winkelhofer. Can't handle it, and Jakob Winkelhofer along the left wing. Brings it back to the right side, McKenzie. The Firebirds will clear it up the near ice, and it looked like it hit the linesman, in fact. As that puck eventually now for McKenzie, right wing side, Sharon. He brought it into the right wing corner. 48 seconds remain on the Sioux power play. Minyosa feeds one in front towards Croskery, and it hit off of his stick and goes out of play. 11 minutes and 53 seconds remain in the third period. Flint 2, Sioux nothing. First power play chance of the game for the Greyhounds. 19.1% of the season. It's the 12th best in the OHL. Flint's penalty kill at 80.6, which is tied for 6th. Remember, the Firebirds with a win today would match the most wins in franchise history with 42. As a foot race to it with Kevin He. In with a shot, score! Kevin He short-handed! 3-0 Flint! A pure foot race. Advantage number 11. Digging after that puck. Goes by Croskery in, quick little flick of the wrist, and it squeaks through Miller. Landon Miller has been so good, but that one, he finds some daylight. Kevin He with his 36th goal this season. A shorthanded goal with 11:47 to go in the third. It's 3-0 Flint. Here come the Greyhounds still on the power play. Minyosa, Winkelhofer. Left side with a shot by Fisher. And that shrugs up into the netting, out of play with 11:30 to go in the third period. So Kevin He, the Winnipeg Jets prospect, he had 14 goals in 28 games as a Niagara Ice Dog. This is his 28th game as a Flint Firebird. And for He, that is his 22nd goal for Flint. He's up to 36 on the season. Face-off controlled by the Greyhounds. Fisher with a shot and he scores. Lucas Fisher snaps one through Vakari. A power play goal and it's a shutout no more. The Hounds are on the board. It's 3-1. Off the one face-off, Lucas Fisher quiets the crowd as Fisher will get his 8th goal of the season, his 5th as a Greyhound. Fisher in his time both with the Hounds and the Sarnia Sting, 5 assists against Flint. That's his first goal of the season against the Firebirds. And it's now 3-1 with 11:25 to go here in period number 3. Face-off controlled by the Hounds, who now will bring it down ice. Into the attacking zone, it's dumped. And Oljanski onto the near side for Battaglia. Puck knocked out of midair, and it will be blown dead with 11:03 to go in the third period. As this Firebirds crowd enjoying the Kevin He goal announcement. 11:03 to go in the third period. A little bit of teeth taken out of it, in part due to the goal scored by Lucas Fisher, the quick answer. Separated by just 22 seconds, those two goals. Off the face-off, the Firebirds dump it in. And it will be run back down along the near side. That puck controlled here by Gillen. And rimmed to the far side. Cleared out to the blue line. Got it back to the right side. Gillen with a shot that's blocked. And it's Oljanski in the left wing corner. And that puck is grabbed by He. And he brings it along the near side. Brought through center, onto Murata. Charlie Murata backhands one in. Battaglia will chase. 10:22 to go in the third period. As the Greyhounds bring it in and dump it in. Firebirds will send it back down the left wing. It is chased after by Smith. And the puck is brought up the right side by Croskery. Along to McKenzie. Fellinger laid a hip check. And less than 10 to go now in the third period. 9:52. As it does pop along, back into the neutral zone. Tessier. They're going to blow it dead, though, and a hand pass on the Firebirds. 9:48 to go in this third period. So the Birds extended the lead from 2-0 to 3-0 on a Kevin He shorthanded goal. Then it's Lucas Fisher on the power play for the Greyhounds to get the Sioux on the board for the first time. Their first power play of the game is successful. So now still a 2-goal Firebirds lead, 9:48 to play. Here in period number 3, Chris Thibodeau, by the way, picked up the assist on that He goal. Thibodeau now with 3 helpers tonight. Off the draw, it's won by the Birds and covered and held by Vakari. 9:45 to go in this third period. Face-off control by the Greyhounds. Firebirds try to force it out. There is Fisher to intercept. As he dumps in right wing corner, the Birds are on it again. Along to Aspinall. Forward for Thibodeau with all kinds of speed. He shoots one wide. And that will be picked up by Hayes. Through center to the near side. Travis Hayes. Thibodeau to nudge one up the wall, and now Croskery. It is dumped in deep. Firebirds off to take it, and a bouncing puck is eventually picked up by Thibodeau. No motor on the left wing side. Thibodeau dumps it in. He will chase. It was Winkelhofer. Now up through center. Firebirds take it once again. The puck is picked up by Pankratich. And Battaglia regains for Flint. Left side, Kevin He gets wide. He is in, goes to the backhand. Didn't get it off, but he drew a penalty. As that now will be blown dead in the far corner. And post whistle, Jacob Battaglia coming to his teammate's defense. Now Battaglia still in the middle of all of that. And looks like slashing is going to be the indication. It's Cloutier going to the box for the Sioux. Now as he cut towards the net, there's the slash. Didn't get the shot off as a result. Kevin He, who has one goal in this period, it was hunting another one, and now his team will get a power play chance. So the Firebirds lead 3-1 as they get back to work on the LJ Inc. power play, their 6th of this evening's game. Snapped over to He. Along to Lombardi, score! Jimmy Lombardi cranks it home. Aspinall should get an assist on that to tie the club record. And the Firebirds now lead 4-1. And post-whistle, the Greyhounds are taking exception to the Firebirds celebration. Urban Padrekar just grabbed the puck. Lombardi the goal. Aspinall should have the secondary assist as he snapped it over to He. Right back to Lombardi, the one-time cranked home. Nathan Aspinall has just tied Amadeus Lombardi for the most assists in franchise history with 57 of them. And the Firebirds now lead 4-1 with 8:25 to go in the third period. And it looks like some penalties have been handed out. Kevin He and Harris Pankratich both to the box. As the Firebirds with a power play goal. As the faceoff down and controlled by Flint. So Aspinall now an assist away from owning that record outright. There is Ryland Fellinger. Will feed one forward. And it is a raucous atmosphere here this evening in Flint. Brought in by Fisher. He did score the lone goal for the Greyhounds. It answered that shorthanded goal for Kevin He. Firebirds chase. There's Landon Miller with a slide to the near side. And that puck now is worked up the right wing. Minyosa does dump it in. Allen to get there. And that puck worked out along the left side. And grabbed by Aspinall. Nathan Aspinall, as there's a Greyhound down behind the play. It's Croskery. And there is Jimmy Lombardi on for Aspinall to bring it in with a shot. He puts it high and wide. And it skipped all the way down to the other end. And the Firebirds get there with Graziano. Luca Graziano. Croskery did make his way to the bench under his own power, by the way. Battaglia along the near wing boards. Jacob Battaglia to Graziano. And that puck to the far side. Here's Battaglia into the neutral zone. 6:50 to go in the third period. Backwards to Battaglia. Flint will work its way out the other way. Jacob Battaglia just over the logo. On the near side now, he'll circle in the neutral zone, 4-on-4 for another 8 seconds. Gave it forward to Anderson. Instead, though, the Greyhounds. Now Winkelhofer, left wing Travis Hayes. Hayes gets in, backhands one on net, stopped by Vicari, second chance stopped as well. And now Mason Vicari will cover and hang on. 6 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the third period. Greyhounds at the tail end of their road trip. Maybe running out of gas here as the Firebirds lead 4-1. Mason Vicari has been excellent with 30 saves. And even as the crowd has thinned a touch, the Let's Go Firebirds chant ringing out as loud as ever. And the face-off is tangled up and eventually controlled by the Hounds. Croskery right back out there after getting dinged up on his latch shift. And his shot was blocked, and the Birds forward for Tessier. On to Thibodeau, they're gonna blow it dead for another hand pass with 6:04 remaining here in the third period. Bring the face-off to center ice. Firebirds getting something sorted over along the bench. Looked like Xavier Tessier was working on one of his gloves. And he'll come and take this face-off at center ice opposite Christopher Brown for the Greyhounds. Soo gains possession off the draw. Final 6 minutes of this hockey game, 4-1 Firebirds. Kevin He tried to touch it forward to himself, and that is now dumped in. Ponchrekar to go and take it for Flint. Back along the near side. Pangretich over to the near wing for Brown. Skates it out to the blue line, tipped in front, and they score. Jordan Sharon, blood hands as he skips it through Vicari. And with 5:33 to go in the third, it's now 4-2. Sharon showing the hands on the shot from the point. He picks up what is his 24th goal of the season. The Pittsburgh Penguins prospects getting the Sioux back within reaching distance at 4-2. And that puck now along the near side. The Birds will try and clear it out with Allen. Can't quite do so, as that will be pinned behind the net and blown dead with 5 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the third period. So the Firebirds still up a pair. It's 4-2 Flint, but the Greyhounds starting to chip away at it. We'll see if it's too little too late, as a horn will signal our final media timeout with 5 minutes and 17 seconds to play in the third period. Flint 4, Sioux 2. We return after this on FHN.
March is here, and that means one thing: basketball's biggest month of the year. But at Shea Chevrolet, we're bringing our own kind of madness. It's Match Madness, and we're matching your down payment dollar for dollar up to $500.
Match up to $500.
That's right. You put down $500 and we'll match it. That means more savings, more flexibility, and more Chevrolet in your driveway. Drive home in the Chevy you've been dreaming about with less out of pocket. But don't wait. This Match Madness event ends March 15th. Come play Match Madness at Shea Chevrolet. Just saying.
5 minutes, 17 seconds, third period. Flint 4, Sioux 2. There is Nathan Aspinall, who has tied Amadeus Lombardi's club record with 57 assists, equaled the most in franchise history. as the Firebirds win the draw, and they will chase along the left wing side. Puck is worked into the neutral zone. And brought back along for Winkelhofer in the defensive end. Dumped in by the Hounds. And that puck back into the neutral zone again. And got it over to the near wing side, Fisher. Winkelhofer. Right back to Fisher. There's Minyosa. And they look forward to Sharon, who boogies after into the attacking zone. Onto the far wing side, the Greyhounds. That's picked up by Brady Smith. And Jimmy Lombardi for the Firebirds tries to clear it out, held in by Croskery. Left wing side, McKenzie's shot was blocked by Allen. And that puck, well, would have been offside, so the Greyhounds will just peel away from it. And the Firebirds have it now in the defensive zone. They pass it up ice, and it is touched along to Anderson. At the red line, that's dumped in for Callum Croskery to go take it. Croskery up ice. Picked off by Oljanski. That is sent in deep, and the Firebirds have it instead with Graziano. Backwards once more. Oljanski with 3:45 to go in the third period. 4-2 Birds. Daryl's Oljanski with pressure coming at him. It is fed up ice, and Jacob Battaglia, left wing he. And it does flip in, and Lucas Fisher scored the first goal of the game for the Greyhounds earlier in this period on the power play. Brady Martin has served his 10-minute misconduct. He's out there now. And that puck behind, Battaglia on it. There's an empty net on the other end now for the Greyhounds. And shooting for the empty net, it goes just wide. That was a big shot from Fellinger, but Kevin He ran it down. He for Battaglia, and he missed the net wide. Now on the near side, Kevin He laid a hit, and Lucas Fisher will pick it up. Under 3 to go, 2:54 to be precise. Martin in on the right side. Poked along by Allen. Cleared by Battaglia, and Winkelhofer back for it. Aspinall on the ice for the Firebirds now. Dumped in by the Hounds. And the Birds to send it up ice. Thibodeau couldn't quite get to it. It's going to be icing on the Firebirds with 2 minutes and 31 seconds to go in the third period. A timeout has been taken by the Greyhounds. 2 minutes and 31 seconds remain in the hockey game. The Firebirds will huddle around Paul Flash. Following that icing, they'll be set up in their own zone. The Greyhounds getting instruction as John Dean watches on. Hounds have pulled Miller for an extra attacker. They've twice brought themselves within 2 goals in this period after Flint opened up a 3-0 lead. They'll break their huddles and get things set in the defensive end. Brady Martin will take the face-off for the Greyhounds. Extra attacker on with an empty net, waiting on the other end for the Sioux. That's Lombardi for the Firebirds. And Flint wins it clean. Podrekar will clear it up ice, and now it's a foot race that Minyosa will win. Icing has been called against the Firebirds. 2:23 now to play in the third period. So once more, they'll set things up in the attacking zone for the Sioux. Hounds in desperation mode with the extra attacker on. Off the draw, Martin tumbles into the corner after it. Firebirds working up the wall. Fisher got in the way, hacked out of there by Lombardi. And chased by Mignosa into the neutral zone. Near side Fisher. Lucas Fisher backwards to Mignosa. Marco Mignosa gliding through center in his 300th OHL game. On the far wing side, the Firebirds still after it. That's Cloutier. For the Greyhounds, he got it down to Jeremy Martin. And to the near side now, Winkelhofer. On to Martin, right wing corner. Martin to Brady Martin. Left wing Fisher with a shot. Blocked on the way through, it skips wide. 1:40 to go in the third. Mignosa for Brady Martin. Down to Cloutier, back to Mignosa. Mignosa for Martin, and it went through his legs. Firebirds gonna get one fresh set of legs out there. Off goes Anderson, on comes Thibodeau. 1:23 to go in the third. Brady Martin in, got shouldered off the puck by Podrekar. And it bounces behind the net, Fellinger. Rylan Fellinger. That's pinned in that left wing corner. Down to 66 seconds now in the third period of this 4-2 Firebirds lead. Time just melting off as it's still stuck in that corner. Fellinger and Lombardi for the Firebirds. That's Martin, and Cloutier for the Hounds. They got it free. Birds send it full length of the ice. And Thibodeau can't quite win the race. So it is icing on the Firebirds. Flint will not be able to change. We'll see if Paul Flash opts to take his timeout. John Dean has already done so for the Greyhounds. Indeed, the Firebirds bench has called for time. 47 seconds remain in the game. Flint 4, Soo 2. Firebirds who have some guys out there who have been out there for a bit. And so Paul Flash wanting to give them their breather and set up his face-off in the D zone the way he wants it. On the other end, the Greyhounds, they need to push, and they need to push hard. 47 seconds to get 2 goals to force OT. For the Hounds, their 6 on the ice will be Martin, Cloutier, Mignosa, Brown, and Fisher. The Firebirds have Lombardi, Anderson, Aspinall, Fellinger, and Allen. Actually, it looks like Quinn McKenzie stepped in for Mignosa. As he wins the face-off, it's taken away from him though. Aspinall in after it, sky! Aspinall with the empty netter. And it's 5-2 Flint. That's 3 points for Aspinall. He entered play today, 2 shy of Nikita Klepov for the league lead. With Saginaw idle, Nathan Aspinall has now regained possession of first place with 89 points. That's goal number 32. And on the night where he ties the franchise record with his 57th assists. And now, just as they drop the puck, it looks like a penalty's going against Brady Smith of the Soo Greyhounds. Now the Firebirds, with just 37.5 seconds to go in the game, are heading to the power play. Now Flint not sending a normal power play unit out there with the game very well in hand. leading 5-2. They've won the face-off, and it's Tessier out to Paul. Now Charlie Murata and Tessier. Paul throws one wide as that bounces into the right wing corner. It's Podrekar. Now Tessier to the front of the net. Into the right wing corner it goes. Morgan, 10 seconds to go in the game. Podrekar. Long shot tipped in front by Tessier. Save by Miller. Still with Morgan, 2 seconds in the game. Cleared into the neutral zone. That's the horn, and that'll do it. The Firebirds have set a new franchise record for points in a single season with 91. They have matched their franchise record with their 42nd win of the season, and they pick up 2 big points. Final score, Flint 5, Soo 2. Well, the Birds celebrate with Mason Vicari. He was sharp between the pipes. And Flint picks up those 2 big points. They've crossed the 90-point threshold for the first time in franchise history, has just got announced in the building. The Firebirds celebrating with their fans. And they've matched the high water mark for wins with 42. And Flint will send this big crowd home happy. Still with 4 games to go, still with work to do, but the Birds have put in a historic season as they'll head down the tunnel and celebrate in their dressing room as we welcome you back inside our broadcast booth. I'm Brian Gardner. Zach McConzick will catch up with Paul Flash downstairs in just a moment on a memorable night in Flint. The Birds win it by a final of 5-2, 3 points for Nate Aspinall. Ties the club record for most assists in a single season, picks up 2 goals in the process as well. Firebirds cross the 90-point plateau for the first time in franchise history, earn their 42nd win, and even more importantly, 2 big points in this race in the Western Conference and the West Division. So the Birds with a 3-goal win, 5-2 over the Soo Greyhounds, whose road trip will come to a close, and they can head home after a long time away from home. And the Firebirds, they got business to attend to tomorrow in Saginaw as Flint, feeling good after another win here on home ice. The Birds have won 3 in a row, points in 4 in a row for Flint as the Firebirds, again, 5-2, your final score here over the Soo Greyhounds in front of a big crowd on this Friday night at the Dort Financial Center. So the Birds, again, victorious, and again, it will be Zach McConzick talking with Paul Flash, who just had a milestone last time out with his 100th win as the Firebirds head coach, already the franchise record holder for most wins as a head coach. And as I keep rattling off all these numbers, yeah, it has indeed been a very successful season for these Flint Firebirds, who have to be feeling pretty good about the way they're playing coming down the stretch here. There's only 4 games remain, 3 on the road, 1 at home here in the regular season moving forward after this one tonight. So the Birds, again, 5-2 is the final score here today on Friday Night Faceoff in the OHL, as Flint finishes the season series with the Soo Greyhounds, 5 wins and 1 shootout loss. Birds picked up points in all 6 meetings against the Hounds, who did get that 1 shootout win over the Firebirds last time they were in this building about a week and a half ago. On the other side of things, though, for the Firebirds, yeah, they pick up those 2 big points. Flint still trying to catch those Kitchener Rangers. We will get post-game results for you on the out-of-town scoreboard. Also, what's happened with the Windsor Spitfires trying to chase from behind. They were taking on those Soo Greyhounds, the Sarnia Sting on the road here today, as it's still very, very tight at the top of the Western Conference as the seeding is far from decided. Looks like we're ready to talk some winning hockey downstairs with the head coach, Paul Flash, as we'll throw it to Zach McConzick.
Thanks, Brian. Coach, congratulations on the win. What were your main takeaways from this one?
Well, it's a big win for the organization. I think that's the most points now. So just proud of the group. Wasn't our best game. Good teams find a way to win games when they're not at their best. And I think if they would have stayed out of the box a little bit more, they would have had a bigger push there. I think the 10-minute misconduct to Martin there at the end of the second was also hurt them since they played last night. So I think we maybe dodged a little bit of a bullet here at times in the game, but still win's a win, and we'll be better tomorrow.
Very chippy game, you just mentioned it. How are you able to keep your boys calm and cool and collected and out of the box in this one?
Well, just don't retaliate. That's the number one thing. Would like to make them pay a little bit more on the power play, but we did get 2 power play goals, which is great. Didn't like our chirping. We pride ourselves on our culture, and I don't want us mouthing off back and forth at their bench or at their players. So we got to clean that up a little bit. But at the end of the day, because we didn't take all the penalties, we were able to play with the man a little bit more and got 2 points.
Coach, Vakari is now 2 wins shy of the single-season win record. How much of a luxury has he been to you guys as a coaching staff and to the team this season?
Well, I've said this before. He's just, since day one, he's been a rock back there. Just so calm, composed, and gives us a lot of confidence, gives our D a lot of confidence when we have new players come in from different teams and that, and he's there to make a save. When you make a mistake, he's there. It helps us a lot. It goes a long way for our development. And so he's been great all season long, and just very, very proud of the year he's had.
Perfect. Appreciate the time. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Flasher. It's a happy hockey coach, and there's lots of reasons for that. The big win gives the credit, and even a little bit of fortune for the Firebirds with Brady Martin being out of the game for a good chunk of that third period. At all the tail end of the long road trip for the Soo Greyhounds, he's never going to take full credit for anything, Paul Flash, but his team just set the new franchise record for the most points in a single season, matched the most wins, also the most wins on home ice now with their 21st win here at the Dort Financial Center. So the Firebirds, a very successful evening as they take it by a final of 5-2. The punctuation coming from their captain, Nathan Aspinall, a 3-point night into the empty net to seal it. We got full highlights for you coming up in the post-game show after this on the Firebirds Hockey Network.
Flint Firebirds hockey is even better with a group. The Firebirds offer discounted tickets for groups of 10 or more people for any of our home games. Perfect for entertaining clients, celebrating a special occasion, or just having a fun night out with family, friends, or coworkers. We have the easy and affordable plan for you. Plus, the bigger the group, the bigger the discount. For more information, visit flintfirebirds.com or contact the Dort Financial Center box office to book your group outing today.
The Ontario Hockey League, more than just a game.
Schaefer sprung loose and he scored!
On the ice, the OHL is the #1 provider of talent to the National Hockey League, developing the game's next stars. Off the ice, giving back matters. Since 2010, OHL teams have invested over $41 million in scholarships